Hello, welcome to Plat Valorant episode 59. We've got the full squad, the regular squad. Avast is back. He's finally managed to make his way through the journey of, I guess, southern USA as he crawls east towards Florida. And Balla's also, I guess, just crawling through the early stages of being a new father as well. Both bruised and battered, but they've turned up. You all right, Avast?
It's been a rough time, you know? I mean, I guess I'll take my journey over Balla's currently because, you know, it's like...
Nah, fuck that.
Oh, really?
Hell no.
Yeah, really? You're gonna take moving? I mean, I've also dodged two hurricanes along the way. I've dodged two different hurricanes.
Yeah.
So, like, like, luckily they've veered past me and created huge natural disasters on either side of me. So does that mean I'm blessed or cursed? I don't know. Like an omen of some sort that ventures across the US?
All of that trial and tribulation just to end up in Florida.
I know.
I mean, you hate to see that.
And
you know what though? I actually like the area. I'm not gonna lie. I do like this area, but I feel like I'm essentially in the... Speaking of hurricanes, I'm like in the eye of one, but the eye of Florida is where I'm at. Everything around me is a maelstrom of fucking chaos in Florida, but this particular area is like just a little chill.
Are you in like a 60+ community, or
it's like it's all rich old people or college kids?
Okay. And you?
What do you mean?
You're the bridge between.
I'm
both.
in between those two demographics, between college kid and rich old person.
I'm just glad we have our very own Florida man on the show now. Let's go.
We do.
Yeah.
We do. I'm expecting you to get up to some heinous shit. I want reports of all the dumb stuff you've done.
Podcast, but I haven't heard it. Wyatt and Balla haven't heard this, but literally the second night. Is this guy drinking from a chalice?
He's drinking from a
what
chalice.
the fuck is that?
You're talking about 60-year-old
white man.
What's going on here?
White man?
Well, we've been getting a lot of Manscaped ads. You know what I mean? It's not. I mean, it's just something light.
What are you drinking?
I mean, it's
Pinot?
It's an 1806 little shit. No.
What are you? What the fuck?
I'm just drinking water. Why? I mean, you guys are making a big deal out of me drinking from a chalice.
I'm making a big deal out of it. You're drinking. You're drinking the Holy Grail over there.
It's not. I don't know. We did a couple Manscaped ads. Things have been going well with the show. We got the Berlin co-stream coming up.
Okay.
I don't know.
You're living the life of luxury now.
Painted your nails.
No, it's just it was only like $700. I just thought that I would get a set of 12 of them.
That's like one NFT. That's a lot of money.
Then he's gonna get an
NFT
NFT
investment.
of the chalice.
It's an investment. Gold is going up in price.
Okay. Well, joined by the bloody bourgeoisie.
No, it is true, Kurt. There's a finite amount of gold, and it's going up in price.
There's a finite amount of gold.
Yeah, just like is that how NFTs work?
Yeah, no, pretty similar to gold.
Okay. But you could just keep making NFTs though. You can't stop making them.
The goldprice.com.
But also your stonks are gonna crash as soon as we do asteroid mining, Wyatt. Once me and Jeff Bezos team up and I go to space, I'm gonna mine so much gold from asteroids and you're gonna be fucked. Your investment's gonna be ruined.
I'll tell you what as well. Talk about living a life of luxury. We have a PO box. I don't know whether we've done a very good job of advertising that aspect as well. Partly because I'm scared of the shit that people are going to send us.
Yeah, when you say we haven't done a good job, we just haven't done it.
Yeah, which is partly for our own self-preservation instincts. But we do have a PO box. The address is probably in the description. If it isn't, it is. All right, it is in the description. And we had some people...
Why are you looking on the floor like the P.O. box is on the floor and you're about to open it?
I got some stuff out of the P.O. box, right?
Oh.
And so this one, it's weird. It says leather dog leash. I don't know whether you can quite see that.
I was hoping we were going to get up to some kinky fun, but... it's not actually.
I mean, that's gonna be. Can we use this? Can we use this for Berlin? Can we use this prop here? Maybe we can do something with this.
But there's no leather dog leash inside of it.
Oh,
but we actually got mouse feet.
It's mouse feet,
which is a lot more serviceable for us in the gaming industry than had we actually had a leather dog leash. Maybe though, we could have made a lot of content with that. We'd have been.
There's another box.
I can think of 1 or 2 ways we could get new members with a leather dog leash.
There's another box here, which the first thing inside of it. This shows you what our viewers are like, by the way. It's just an empty box of tissues. It's just empty.
But it was used as well.
Why was that so sensual? The way you ripped that box.
It was used for packing purposes to fill out the box.
And then when you dig deeper,
which are like lab wipe boxes.
Yeah, that was like
packaging.
alcohol wiped box. It wasn't just a tissue. But when you delve deeper into this box of treats, there's a hot potato inside.
Well, it can't possibly be hot now, right?
That's what the foil's for.
It can't possibly still
That's
be
what
warm.
the foil is for.
The Texan heat, keeping that potato
But actually,
nice and warm.
inside of it, there's a mouse for the mouse feet, I would assume. And so
yeah, those two go inside.
I'm not sure what mouse this is, but it's one of those I don't know, like honeycomb setups where they've taken some of it out in order to make the mouse lighter,
It's like
I guess.
a vinyl mouse or something.
Yeah, except I'm very bad at mouse detection.
Yeah, I am not a mouse aficionado.
And it's come with instructions. They have such little faith in us that it says, remove from box, plug in.
You guys.
Yeah. Turn on, and then it says, I'm looking at you, Uncle Egg, like I would forget to turn it on. Like, I don't know, mice don't normally have a turn on button.
Reasonable.
Then it says, load up Valorant. Buy the Vandal, even though the Phantom is better.
Yep. Sounds good to me.
Miss one tap and die to running Phantom user.
Yep.
Throw mouse at wall. So those are the instructions.
Oh, okay.
There is a lot more, actually. There's a lot more. Stuff like, get a hold of me on Twitter. There's a QR code there as well in case we need more instructions that I don't know what that links to. Oh, it links to his YouTube channel. Battery should last about a week. Plug them in overnight. If you really want to extract the battery life, you should swap the polling rate to 500 hertz. My apologies if you dislike the texture. I don't have any grips, or I would have sent them with some.
It's a custom mouse. He made a mouse.
Wait, is it?
It's a custom mouse?
Wait, how do you know this?
Because he said, I apologize. He said, I apologize for the texture. He must have made the mouse.
Is this a custom
Wait, is that what this is?
Mouse?
Okay.
That makes a lot of sense.
That makes
now.
way more sense.
That makes a lot of sense.
Oh, shit, he has.
That is...
This is like a
very cool,
genuine custom-made mouse. I don't know whether... Yeah, I'm sorry.
Dude, get a little...
Look at that zoom feature.
Get a side angle on that. I mean, you could just make any
I don't know how
less
we're
of
going to try and focus on
yucky face. Yeah, cover that face up. Okay, I mean
there
we go. That was good. Yeah.
I could just hold it here. I don't know what.
Give him a side view though. You know what I mean?
Little side view. Little profile view.
Yep.
That 3D printed?
No, I mean it. I'm not sure.
It looks 3D printed.
It reminds me of like a Logitech G Pro or something.
It has definitely been custom made though, now that you mention it, because the texture is a little rough, like it's been hand sanded or something like that.
I might like that actually.
Yeah, it does. It looks like the G Pro.
That is very cool. So this is from Zoro Cirrus, one of our viewers. Thank you for these. Cool. This is very good. It's likely best not to leave these out in direct sunlight. I don't know anyone who games in direct sunlight.
I do.
I don't know any gamers that really go outdoors at all.
I haven't had any warping, but technically it could happen in extreme conditions. Well, I'm glad you were here, Balla, to inform us that it was a custom build, because otherwise I just didn't really understand why it's mice to us.
Well,
but
if you would opened it up, we would have arrived to that conclusion. We were kind of just
we were looking at it in tinfoil.
Yeah.
So, and also when you read the note, that kind of helped as well.
It did. That is extremely cool, though.
That is very cool.
Very much appreciate that. I'm going to put it back in the box.
Hell yeah.
Wait, put that right back in the back.
Let me get this straight, Mr. Whoever you are, that we need to,
Zoro
Mr.
Cirrus.
QR code. You sent the custom mouse to Mr. Egg to test out of all people.
I mean,
what do you mean?
I mean, if it passes the test with Sideshow, though, then you know it's very durable.
I will say,
anyone can use it.
The box said to Egg, Bren, and Wyatt.
Right.
So you get to share it.
Yeah, I guess we get to all test it out. There might be multiple mice in there. I haven't dug deeper inside the box.
That's what the dog leash is for. When I guess it just didn't. He forgot to put it in, but you're supposed to use the leash to figure out who's the person testing the mouse at the current time.
Oh yeah.
There's more.
I dug deeper and there's more. I didn't realize. I don't know what this is though. This doesn't feel like a mouse. Oh no, it's another mouse. No, it was another mouse.
Okay, never mind.
God, you are.
They probably sent 3.
Something
I
else.
imagine.
Yeah, there's 2 more mice in here, so there are 3 mice.
Sick.
Yeah,
There's 3 custom built mice by Zoro Cirrus. I mean, that's so cool.
That is
very much.
very cool. Thank you.
Appreciate that.
That's great.
I'll test them out. I'll see whether it improves my Vandal aim. Probably not.
No, listen. If it helps your aim, he has stumbled upon a magical product that he should mass produce. If that helps you rank up, that'll give fucking Final Mouse a run for their money. If that helps you rank up, Razor's in trouble. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
the mouse that could even help the egg rank up. Moving on to our first topic, though, away from the PO box.
Yeah, this is a really important first topic.
This is. The map is starting to get teased on Twitter.
Not just the map.
Oh.
There were... Did you not see,
I didn't, no.
What does this mean?
Oh.
What does this GIF mean? Is it the new agent? Is it Deadeye?
A skin?
Why? Wait, what is image
Deadeye?
Of like... What
That's
was that
the
image
leaked
of
new
like...
agent that was like on the wall in the poster?
They showed too.
I mean,
like one of those images they put up that had like lightning or something.
Wait, yeah, but
God,
that's for the map.
That's for the map.
That's got to be for the map. So
wait, I haven't even seen this one.
I thought this was only to tease the map at Berlin. I thought Berlin would happen. There's a new map, and everyone's excited about it. Is this also going to be an agent teaser? Because that's what that bullet looks like.
That's what I'm saying. I think new map. We might be getting a new map and the new agent.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Could happen. I mean, what was the agent named Deadeye was leaked. We were theory crafting that it might be a golden gun was his ultimate. You have like one shot and it insta-kill. That bullet, I guess, kind of suggests something like that. What do you think?
I don't know how. I mean, I go ahead, Balla, you go first.
Okay, I want to hear the theory.
Okay, we just got KO, right? They just introduced this new mechanic, suppression. All right, what if this golden gun thing is not like a golden gun, but it's a wall hack bullet that you can choose who you want to suppress, and then you could hit a site with it as the ult.
Sorry, you're gonna have to explain that more. What is a wall hack bullet?
I don't know. Everybody shows up for a second. And you get to shoot. Like, is McCree in Overwatch? Doesn't he get like supervision and he could shoot at like a bunch of different people?
Yeah,
through walls,
sort of, but not through walls.
He can't shoot through. He can see people through walls, though. He can see where they're positioned if he pops the ult. So I mean, that could be.
So I'm assuming this bullet can go through everything, and it might show you for like 2 seconds everybody on the map. For only the specific agent, and then it'll be some ability. It's not going to be like damage or anything like that, but it'll be some ability that can target somebody specifically. Ooh. I think that's what it is.
Okay, so it's
homing.
I mean, you have to hit it. It's attack FPS with precise gunplay, after all. Like,
that's true. Yeah.
Yep. Right,
very true.
Precise gunplay.
Has anyone got a theory about the map gimmick? Because a lot of the stuff that's been hinted at was like, we're going to change what it means to be on attack and defense. And the map is very... I think that was a specific thing. Yeah.
Well, I mean, this is like a teaser trailer, right? Isn't this kind of reminiscent to that thing that they released at Reykjavik where it was like the
world splitting in two?
The two different worlds splitting. So to me, it feels like they're following the theme there of like they're going to inverse the map somehow.
Yeah,
I've
been trying to think up different ideas of like how you would inverse a map. Like you could spawn the attackers where they have site control so they can plant and it's like a full retake map, but that would be really weird and all the rounds would be half the length and it would remove like a lot of the strategy involved. Or you could maybe have like I don't know, like I don't know, maybe there's only one bomb site but the defenders have all of the control of the map around it. I don't know. Like, what
maybe
do you
it's
think
like a giant, like 4D tesseract in the middle of the map, and like when you touch it, it just morphs the map, like various randomization. Like what happens then? Like what if it's just like a giant chaos theory thing?
This guy, no, he might be onto something. That might actually
a tesseract.
No, it's like Battlefield Levolution. You know what I mean?
I have a theory in it. There's some supporting things here from the lore master Sinpro, who is like, if you look at the text, she's talking about how there's a teleporter that's upgraded, an upgraded version of the one on Bind on this map. And so I'm thinking that you could use this teleporter to go to the other bomb site or something like. I don't know. There's like 2 different layers to the map, and you have to use the teleporter to get between the 2.
A bit like Nuke, but
like
you would need to use the teleporter to get from high to low or something. I could see them. I could see them definitely making a Nuke style map. I mean, that's one of the only things they haven't done yet is layer the bomb sites on top of each other. Bren's got a theory. What's Bren's theory?
I've been cooking this up for a while. Sorry to interrupt. This new map concept. So they've been with the gimmicks, you know, with the zip line.
Yeah.
The vent.
The vents.
Right. The doors.
Why do you look so frantic? Like you've been thinking about this for days at a time.
I'm crazed.
I've been
like you've been
this
sleeping.
Up. Do we think it would break the game if they introduced the gulag?
Every time there's a new update, you speculate that it's the gulag.
That's so far off away from the other idea.
Imagine this.
Every time.
Champions Finals. Shazam in the 1v5. It's the decider on the new map. It's the decider on the new map. He goes to the gulag underground area. There's a chute in an area of the map. Okay, no, hear me out. Stop laughing. Stop laughing. Hear me out here. There's a chute on the map that you go into, and it puts you into an underground gulag area. If you win the gulag, it's essentially like aim labs, but you're playing against like an advanced AI.
Oh, so wait, so you're not playing against anyone from the enemy team?
No. There's variations of the idea that I'm cooking up, but one of them is that you play against AI, and if you win the AI fight, you either get kitted out like as an individual.
What does kitted out mean?
Like armor or a gun. Would that break the game?
That would break many things. That would break my mental, break my will to live,
my abs.
Yeah,
Jesus Christ.
Okay, and then go ahead.
No, go on.
I was just gonna say the other idea I had would be literally just to rip it from Warzone, and have it so that you could literally, if you're an attacker, you could 1v1, or you can 1v1 a dead member of the opposing team. And if you win, you can only trigger the gulag event if you're alive. If you win, you get money. If you lose, you die, and the defenders come back, or the opposition comes back to life.
Who would take that?
If you need money.
What? But then you just auto lose a round though, right? Because you spawn back all the picks, right?
No, for the next round. Need a bit of money. Dishes out across the enemy team.
Round, you get in there with a
but
sheriff or
wouldn't
something.
you be better just rocking with the pick?
I think they're trying to like ease people in slowly into these ideas with these slow gimmicks, and eventually they're gonna go like, there's another objective on the map that's not a bomb site.
I could see that though.
Yeah, that I could see.
And now I'm gonna leave you with that train of thought.
That's not a train. That's
what I do think is viable from
Bren's
absolute crazed rambling is the idea of some kind of secondary objective on the map.
Yeah.
I think that in the same way that like you have I don't know, in a MOBA, you have various different objectives that are all around the map, and you have to prioritize which one you want to fight over. Valorant already has orbs that you can fight over, right? Those are secondary objectives. Oh, hi.
We're back.
Bye.
Don't worry.
So I could see them adding something to the center of this map that gave you a large advantage, and you're supposed to fight over that before the spike gets planted.
So they bring Baron into Valorant as I disappear again. I'm hitting the Tesseract in the middle of the map, so that's what's happening. But they're gonna get Baron in the middle of the map, and you can get the Baron buff.
Yeah,
something like that.
Something of that.
I think you guys just teased. Bren just teased it completely. We've got the inside juice in the middle of the map. There is a cage where Bren lays as the ape of the map.
I hope so.
It's just Bren in a cage battling all oncomers.
I don't know who let him loose, but I don't know who let him loose.
It just turns into like Saxton Hale from TF2 when you unleash him, and you just have to. Everyone on the map has to fight at Bren as he runs around, and he just kills everybody.
Yeah,
I mean that is.
I love the ideas.
No, I mean that is. I swear, at some point in the game, whether it be a map gimmick or an agent ability or ultimate, there will eventually be like a Saxton Hale or like a Bob. You know what I mean? Like someone's ultimate is making an AI. It's going to happen eventually.
Maybe, yeah.
No, it's going to happen.
Okay.
I'm telling you.
All right. Okay.
I swear, one day.
Well, we can throw out as many bullshit ideas as we like, because in the future, when one of these happens, we'll only clip the part where we were right, and then we'll ignore all the rest.
Also, very possible that we were just
Yeah, it could
We're
be.
just
Could
wrong
be.
about
All right.
everything.
Let's get into our next segment, though, because this is one that the people have been clamoring for. Every single week, we have people in the comments saying, review the skins! Review the skins! Talk about the skins! Well, guess what? We're here. We're back. It's skin review time, baby. Let's get it launched. Avast and Balla have been sacrificed so that we may do this skin review.
We're here. Oh, no,
People
we're not.
really asking for this.
Oh, people were asking for this. Please change your video settings as well. That's really important for us.
Okay.
I feel like skins are really important. I don't think you guys. I remember there was a tweet going around Valorant Twitter, and like the pros were talking about like how much money they've spent on skins in Valorant so far, and there are like pros that have said they've easily dropped like $4,000.
Oh, it's crazy. It's absolutely insane.
Like,
it really is.
Skins are huge.
Didn't they say that they broke the servers or something for people trying to queue up to buy the butterfly knife? Something like that.
Yeah, it was something along those lines.
Yeah. I can't remember the exact details, but they had some issues because the demand was so high. People are losing their minds over this knife. Talk to me about it. Sell me on it. Do you like this?
I mean,
Flippy knife, very cool. Yes, I love it.
Yeah, it flips. You know?
Yeah. I just wish it was like on fire or there was like particle effects.
Well, they will in the future. This is quite a dull version of the butterfly knife, but they have that animation in the game now. They're going to make like a glitch pop butterfly knife in the future.
And that's why I won't be purchasing this one.
Ooh, okay.
Because it's just, there's going to be a cooler one in the future.
But let's rate it on its own merits for
inevitable.
now, because
Okay,
its
sure,
competition
yeah.
doesn't exist for right
that's
now.
fair.
The animation.
All
You
I
like
know
it,
is
Balla?
Avast is working hard. Connor Industries is working hard.
Yeah,
and
it's
gonna
me.
pump out a lot of.
I'm getting a licensing fee
nice
for
new
this one.
knives. Yeah, I like it. I already copped. Like this thing is so good. I don't know. I love flipping it around, and gives me feelings
Wait,
of playing
you say
CS.
you love flipping it around. That's present tense. Have you already bought this thing?
Yeah, he said he
Yes,
copped.
yes.
Oh, my
you
word.
did?
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Well,
Yeah,
you're ruining our segment here. You're ruining our segment.
sorry,
we want to preserve the mystery. Oh, he's already done it. He's
He's
already
already
done
got
it.
it. There it is. He's copped.
He's already done it. He's dropped the bag.
The bag has been dropped.
Let's take a look at some of the other skins that are in this collection, though, because
Okay.
you're talking about it being a little basic. It's supposed to be like a relatively realistic kind of,
Yeah, and you get
what is it,
That
like
thing
desert
looks sick.
warfare kind of skins, I
This
guess.
COD.
I mean, that's more of
Yeah,
an
it
urban
is-
camo.
it is very COD-like.
Although, yeah, this one's more of like an urban camouflage, I
yeah.
suppose.
Yeah, it's like
And you get the
camo
random
there.
attachments with the upgrades, which is
I-
cool.
well,
I like that.
no, I think these
like
look shite.
I was gonna say I like that idea. The like random
Attachments?
the random attachments with the variant upgrades. I think that's cool conceptually, but
Wait,
I'm
can
not
you
a big.
pick an attachment though?
What?
Like, can you just like pick an attachment or just come out with a random attachment every
think
time?
it's just
'Cause
random.
all of these are ass, but the one that had the thing on the side that was like full COD was sick.
Really? You like that? I thought it looked worse the more the silhouette changed.
That
Like
one-
the little laser
but in
sight
red.
and that kind of stuff. Nah, I'm not into that. Where's the other one that's like it's a big bulky
That
thing
one,
on the
that
side?
one's cool. That one with the laser sight, I think, is actually pretty cool.
Yeah,
The laser
me and
sight
Connor
one is
Industries on
cool.
the same vibe. Let's go.
That one's cool. The rest of them, I feel like you have to be. This is gonna hit a very specific demographic of people, or I guess it'll hit two demographics. It'll hit the shopaholic demographic, obviously, like every skin, and secondly, it will hit like the people that really want to be like cool. They want to have like the cool army gun shit, you know? Like
Yeah,
that's
eventually.
gonna be them. You know, they're gonna be the dudes in their night vision, sitting at their PC desks, fucking playing this through their optics. And I think they're gonna love that stuff. I think that one's cool. The one with the laser sight's cool. The rest of them, I feel like I want a little flamboyance. You know, I want my skins to be crazy. Like I've pulled Excalibur from the fucking stone.
Okay.
That type of thing.
How crazy do these
Yeah.
get? Let's keep flicking through them, Kurt, a little bit.
Check
What's
out
the
like
next
the
one?
Explosive
Phantom.
bullets.
The Guardian. All right.
Is that Reinhardt on there?
Yeah, that's Reinhardt. Yeah, it's a crossover. It's pretty cool.
Crossover event.
Yeah, I'm not big on the Guardian. It
Wait,
looks.
I
a bit
would
too
buy
realistic.
the Guardian if that was my Guardian. I'm not gonna lie.
You
But
would,
I
you would
still don't
use
want
the
that
Guardian
skin.
in your games. You would throw your games if you had that skin.
That thing feels beefy now. Like the Guardian feels like, I don't know, just like a little. It feels like I'm playing Dave Defeat with like the crappy 1940s rifles. Like, that's what the Guardian feels like. Now this thing is beefy. This thing is beefy.
Yeah, I mean, it does look beefy. It also looks ugly as fuck. I mean, it is just a horribly ugly gun and skin. The silhouette has been changed to be much thicker and bleh. I don't know. I'm not a fan. Don't enjoy this at all. What's the next one look like? What is that?
Ooh,
I mean, it's slick looking, but it just looks like a very modern, like,
it's pollution
colored. Colors here.
Yeah.
You got to show off all the colors here. You can't just go skin shopping without showing. Yeah, let's get the red. Let's get.
I do think the laser sight is actually sick, like as an effect. But the flashlight feels like I'm about to play Dead Space. Like I'm gonna be walking around like so I don't want the flashlight.
Yeah. Well, but the problem is, why would you? Or not the problem, but the missed opportunity is you can't ADS with the Ghost, right? So what does the laser sight even do at that point?
It
just looks
for
cool.
the feel.
But on the other ones, you could ADS and you actually saw like the laser outline and that kind of thing.
Advocating for pay to win? Is that what you're advocating for? Right?
No. What I'm saying is,
I thought you cared about competitive integrity.
Move us along. Let's look at the Phantom.
I mean,
but ugly motherfucker. I'm gonna say it. We're all thinking it. It looks like. It's ugly.
It has cool sounds though. When you get kills with it, the sounds are kind of cool.
Are they? What's the sound?
Not.
Make the sound for me.
It's like something like that.
So you just shit your
like
pants
that
when you shoot.
And then when you get the next kill, it's you know what I mean? And then
like increasing. It's like a crescendo.
I don't think
I thought
it
bad. Decreased with that one. I think it just looks
very military. You know, it doesn't look bad though. Like there's definitely gonna be some kid in a camo vest that's gonna sit down on his PC at Valorant, buy every one of these fucking skins, and then he's gonna be twirling his own fucking butterfly knives as he plays Valorant. And
yeah, those are the kind of people that buy katanas and chop water bottles in half in their backyard.
Yeah, but I'm sure that at least 10% of the Valorant demographic.
Water bottles or watermelons?
I mean, both. All. I
Most
can't really take the high ground on watermelon destruction,
really
can I?
All right, but look at the barrel, though. Look at the barrel. I don't know which part of the gun is the barrel, but that thing is fat, and I don't know. It looks.
The only thing you're not supposed to do with the gun is look at the barrel. It's like the biggest thing you're not supposed to do is look at the barrel. Don't look down the barrel.
Watching the video, let's all look down the barrel. Why people happy? Death. Here we go. Everyone look down it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I like the knife, but there's going to be a cooler one. Not a big fan of the other skins. All right, not a big fan. Not copping.
No cop?
No.
Oh,
no.
Avast. What are you going for here? Cop or drop?
I'm not the demographic, I'm afraid, for this. I'm not the demographic, so it's a drop for me.
Oh, that's sad. And you got to do a lot more than this to get me to part with my money. No, I mean, you've got to start massaging me or something.
I think I know the demographic though. With Apex's rise, they're just like, hold on, if we just add some skins that look like Apex real quick, we'll stop having people go to that game. I think that's
the idea.
However, can I like change, because this isn't like a full cop for me. I'm not buying these Phantoms and I'm just buying the knife. That's it.
That's enough of a cop. That's enough of a cop.
Would you buy the butterfly knife?
No.
Sorry, Avast. Would you only buy the butterfly knife?
Chalice made of gold. Why?
Yeah.
Well, that's different. That's different.
And I like it more than the knife. I would keep. If I could run around with a chalice in the game, I would definitely do that.
I wouldn't buy the knife either though, because I'm not butterfly knives. They have to look cool, because like the gimmick of a butterfly knife doesn't. It's not enough to get me. You know.
Okay.
I played Spy in TF2.
Exactly. That's what it makes me think of. I just feel like I'm the spy from TF2. I'm gonna fuck the scout's mother.
It needs to have something cooler. It needs to have something cooler.
That's the point.
I thought you were going to say like go invisible.
I will say,
you know what I mean.
That one looks way better than the other camo one. That skin color looks a lot better to me.
Yes, but is it on fire? No. When they release one that's on fire and there's particle effects coming out of it, then I'll reconsider.
Which skin did you get, Balla?
Yes.
Which skin did you get with the butterfly knife?
Well, I don't have the very expensive Radianite points, so I just have the default.
Oh, you just have the default. You have to spend extra Radianite points on the other things.
I mean, I got the animation, but I'm not. That's too much.
Wait, sorry, you have to pay extra for the animation.
Yeah. Well, I don't know what the animation is. Go to base, Kurt, and it'll show without the animation.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
So you actually have to pay 10 points to be able to.
You literally have to pay 10 points to be able to flip it. You can't flip it if you don't pay.
Josh is stunned.
This is next level monetization that we're witnessing here.
That is absurd. All right, get me away from this. Get me away from this. The skin review is bringing up bad memories. Let's talk about something more positive. Oh, and get rid of Avast and Balla while we're at it. Oh,
yeah, whenever I load or whenever I tab in or out of the game, they just disappear for a second.
All right. Well, hopefully that shouldn't happen again because we're done with the game portion of this. But the next thing I want to move on to is actually not going to be less mold inducing. It's the Berlin seeding and the Berlin bracket. There's been a lot of conversations about it, about the group stage. The last time we did it, we didn't know exactly how it was going to be seeded, but we had heard thoughts, rumors, stuff like that. And after its release, there have been a lot of people wondering how it came to be, because Group A is a group of death. Envy's group is very free. There are a lot of comments from different people around the scene saying, why did we even bother winning our region when it gets us a worse group? Well, what do you guys think about this? Was there any reasonable way that they could have done this in a better manner?
I mean, to begin... Well, I'll go first. I mean, to begin with, I think the only issue at hand with the bracket, with its formation, because the way they did it is they had multiple pools where they placed various teams in the pools based on how they performed within their region.
Yeah.
But that I feel like that could have been done, but start the groups with one EMEA team in each group, 1, 2, 3, 4, because there are 4 teams from EMEA. That kind of just makes sense to do,
it does
right?
Seem
to just
to
split
make
them
sense.
up from the same region, and then from there draw the teams in based on the pools. I mean, I think that would have solved the only issue at hand, which is, I suppose, if you wanted to end up with perfect groups, that's kind of how it would have happened.
Yeah,
because it would have, because then you would have had like Crew in Group A or something, and SMB in Group B, and then it would have been theoretically fine in that each team or each group would have one NA, one EU, and then the one Group A would have Vision Strikers and one EU.
I think that's fine. I think that is my issue, is the fact that there's 2 EU teams in one group.
Yeah.
Right. But if you did just one EU team in every group, then that also kind of devalues their placing in their EMEA finals. Right. So you still want to have a pool system where, the top seed is getting a better chance at a easier group. Right. Because I don't want to get rid of that for EU. Just because there's 4 teams.
No, I think that's pretty reasonable. My issue comes with the way that they've created the pools. To me, when you have, with the Ascend manager here saying, sucks we got 3rd seed and had to play SMB. I wish we got 2nd seed and could have played SMB. And Shazam, I think, also tweeted something like, never taking a seeding match seriously again, because it didn't really do anything for them. I guess
they're playing like G.
I
mean, theoretically, they're playing their 3rd seed.
I mean,
right?
Theirs is one of the 2 groups that made sense, though.
Yeah.
I mean, they're playing the lowest team in G2 from EMEA. And then what are the other 2 teams in the group?
F4Q.
F4Q got 2nd, and
someone who's going to get destroyed. Crazy Raccoon, maybe? Who is it?
Yeah.
Oh, it's
I mean, I think Shazam
Bren
wanted to
Esports.
play. I think Shazam just felt like they wanted to play, like, if they got 1st seed in an A, they were going to get placed with like a non. Essentially, they probably thought they were going to play a non-major region team, so they would have played against like Platinum or SEA or something like that.
They still have an astoundingly winnable group, though. Sentinels have no room to complain. They did get the benefit.
I feel like their win got them into a good group.
Let's talk about someone whose win did not get them a good group. Vision Strikers, #1 team coming out of Korea, did not get the benefit of their group, or rather the benefit of their seeding, because other regions didn't get seeded high enough. Like SMB and Ascend didn't get seeded high enough, so they didn't get avoided. They were counted as a low-seeded team because they're like the 2nd, 3rd team coming out of EMEA. So the Vision Strikers slots in there, and you've got an outrageous Group A. And Vision Strikers, SMB, and Ascend? Yeah. That's just sad for Vision Strikers, honestly, because even if they make it out, I mean, people are going to be happy if they make it out and beat one of the EMEA teams. But the fact they have a chance of not even making it to the playoffs portion, when they look on paper and via their results to be somewhere between a top 8 and a top 4 team, that's extremely disappointing that they might never even match up against an NA team at all.
Yeah, and then when you consider some of the other placements on the pool, like Envy being in the lowest for getting 3rd in NA, just
right
a bit.
Where are
odd.
the pools written? Is that like, is there an article on VLR or something?
They are on
the
VLR. There is an article on VLR.
No, there's a blog post that they posted. I just linked it to Kurt.
Oh, okay.
Cool.
Yeah, so if we could bring up the blog post, though, because I think the best way of... I do agree that a pool system is probably the fairest way of doing it. And also, you don't want to discredit regions too heavily after only one international event. But this is why I said on one of the previous episodes that I am very confident any of us could have come up with a better seeding than what they will have their algorithm create. Because an algorithm like this is only as good as the subjectivity you're willing to put into it. And if you take it to super hands-off and you're like, well, everyone's as good as everybody, then you're going to mess shit up. Like, for example, here, they've weighted NA2 and EMEA2 above Japan 1, maybe because Japan finished last at Reykjavik. I don't know. Maybe that was already what they were planning on doing. But the idea that North America 3 is worse than Japan 1 is, I mean, that's... No human would have created that seeding.
Right.
But an algorithm does, because you're trying to remain as non-biased as possible, but you're introducing just different biases in there. You're just trying to
even with EMEA 4, would EMEA 4 even being below Japan 1? Like, I don't even think so necessarily, right? Like,
no, definitely
not.
I mean, I wouldn't expect so. But...
I mean, but also,
yeah, but if you do that and you make NA3 above Japan, like, then the pools have 2 teams within them, and it just becomes 2 teams from the same region. It's just
right.
The
Yeah, and so there are issues no matter where you do it, which is why
I was just going to say, doing it data driven, there's no data.
Yeah, there's not enough data.
That is
I mean, maybe that will be the case in the future.
Yeah. So
that's why it's like impossible to make a scenario right here where everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah.
In reality, like, the Vision Striker was in pool number 1, so they had a very high chance of getting an easier group, or at least, like, on paper, on average, that seed number 1s are going to be the best teams in their group, right? And that's how they get easier groups, because everybody below them is. That's the logic,
and that's the
sense.
idea. The logic somewhat makes sense, except that the teams they're likely to match up against are the lowest pool, which includes G2 and Envy as well, who are still... I mean, if you got a group that was Vision Strikers, G2, and Envy, that's still a tough group to be able to get out of, even though you've got your number 1 pool with your lowest pool. So I think their algorithm doesn't map to reality. The reason that I linked that tweet to you, Kurt, as well, is not just to toot my own horn, but the thing that I was quote tweeting is an app that's really cool, actually, that's made by this guy, Agravel. And the idea is that if you click on it, it might not show up very well on the setup that we currently have, but if you click on it, it generates groups based on their algorithm. And so you can see what was likely to happen. So if you click on draw group, every time you click it, it's going to draw a different random group that could have existed. And no matter how many times I clicked this button, it never gave me good results. I mean, it was, in fact, this was actually one of the better results it could have given, the reality that we have. There are frequently very, very bad groups that it comes out with, which I think indicates that the system is pretty poorly
Group
functioning.
D and that. I mean, it's basically the same thing as the Group A we have, except Envy are in it.
It's like Vision Strikers, no matter what, ended up kind of getting screwed just by the way this system works. So I definitely think that there's some rethinking to do as we head into Champions, for sure. Like,
I mean, we just need more data. That's really what the inherent problem when you're doing this, right? There's been one international event, and even at that event, there were not many games played. You really didn't see that many games in Iceland.
Yeah.
It was over in a flash. So obviously this tournament's going to help. We're going to have more data in that regard. But even in that, things are changing constantly. Like the strength of the depth of regions has gone up, and it's fluctuated throughout the year. I mean, even if you just look at NA at the beginning of the year, it was kind of chaotic. And like Luminosity were on a tear. And then, then at some point it was just Sentinels were far and away the best. And then version 1 were kind of good, and Cloud9 were good all this, but now it's like we have a cemented, really excellent top 4, and the depth is even below that. There's some good teams below, so it's always going to be fluctuating, especially in a game like Valorant with so many meta changes and new agent introductions, etc. Right? So it's never going to be perfect. And honestly, looking at this bracket still, looking at it strictly from at the end of the day, I want to watch some good games.
Yeah.
Pretty fucking entertaining groups. I mean, I'm still I'm not tripping too much about the fact that the group A is kind of set, like, it's going to be pretty entertaining.
Yeah. I think the only thing that detracts from entertainment is if Vision Strikers don't make it through and never face it off against any NA teams. You know?
Yeah.
If they end up just getting...
But even then, if Vision Strikers lose like 2 close 2-1s, yeah, it'll kind of suck, but there's still going to be some sick games in this Group A. Even maybe more so than that, it's just kind of that it's just disappointing that we're going to watch It's funny, I'm not even looking forward to watching SMB ascend that much. Like, it'll be cool, but I mean, we'll see that game again. More frequently,
but
right?
That is the thing. Group A is the only one that detracts from the entertainment value.
Group B, I think, is really interesting. We get Envy with their first time on LAN with the Yay. I mean, first time on LAN, period. And they now have the Yay roster. And then you have 3 teams that won their own regions for a chance for a minor region to get into a quarterfinal. I think that's pretty cool. I think these are, I just think it's an interesting group. And then obviously, Group D and C are more of like I guess they're like the ideal world groups where it's the favorites that we all have in our heads are going to be able to make it through kind of easily.
I don't know I don't think the G2 will necessarily make it through easily against F4Q, though. I think that could be
maybe not.
Could be somewhat of an interesting game.
but you understand where I'm coming from.
Yeah, but they have
still overall, I'm looking at this and I'm like, okay, this is pretty entertaining. And honestly, if the groups were all ideal world and all played out, it might be a boring 6 days of group stages, given that that's the huge majority of this event is group stages. I mean, from the entertainment factor and listen, I'm kind of not mad at it from that stance.
It does beg the question, though, because seeding is so difficult to do. Is what I would say is GSL groups actually the best format for a thing where you don't have data to seed properly?
Sure.
Because
I mean, how are they going to seed them once they get to the bracket as well?
That's random.
Well,
is that just random?
I think it's just random, right?
1-1-1-1. There's 4 teams that are winning the group, and then there's 4 teams that lose the group, and it's random from there.
And then it's just random.
And then it's just random matchups.
Yeah, because for example, the second team coming out of Group A might be better than some of the number 1 teams coming out of some of the other groups. So,
but is that any different than any other event, right? Like, honestly, it's no different than any other event.
I mean, I'm sure it's happened, but every time there's a tournament, there's always which group is the group of death?
Yeah.
Every single tournament.
And that's great, because that's the storyline that becomes fun, because now everyone's tuning in for the group of death.
Exactly.
It will definitely drive viewership to the Group A games. Everyone will be watching the Vision Strikers games for sure. My biggest issue with it, though, is if Vision Strikers ends up losing in the groups, but then, for example, the team that eliminates them, say Ascend or whatever, goes to the finals, something like that, and you end up having... Okay, Sentinels 1, Ascend 2, Supermassive Blaze 3, something like that. And Vision Strikers didn't make it out of groups, but it's clear that they were somewhere between like 4th and 6th best. That then fucks with the data for your seeding next time around as well. Where you're trying to, all right, we'll try and make the seeding a bit better next time now that we have more data. But now our data says that Korea's shit, even though it isn't. That's where you can have compounding problems based on your seeding issues here. And also the stuff that Shazam brought up of like, well, this is also going to make teams care even less, not just teams, but people from the entertainment perspective care even less about domestic seeding games too, if they feel like it has no impact overall.
That being said, though, this was the last VCT qualifier. After this, after last chance qualifier, which the team's already decided for, and champions, there's likely going to be a different circuit or however it works, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the actual solution is you just have to make one that doesn't have seeding games, because it has just been a problem all year long.
Sure.
I mean, it's just something that has to go.
Sure. Overall, though, when these groups are released, and now that you've had a bit of time to look through them, are you more excited seeing the groups? about Berlin. Because normally when I was thinking about it, I was like, top 8 teams, I already know, basically, I think,
I'm
who's
more
going
excited.
through.
I am more excited with these groups than if it was perfect and we put whoever if we took Crew out of B and put Supermassive Blaze in B, if we just flip those 2 teams, I would be a lot less enthused for the 6 days of group play than with these groups. I just think they are more interesting. I think Group A and B are way more up in the air, and I think that there's an overwhelming chance that C and D we can call on paper right now, aside from maybe F4Q and G2. But I think that it's gonna, it makes again the huge majority of the tournament. There's gonna be more questions and hype and lead up to those games than there would have been had the groups been perfectly sorted and.
You're on the same boat.
I think that's really all
on the same boat.
I think that no matter what, as soon as I see the matches, I'm going to get more excited. So I really don't care. Sure, I want to care about all the competitive integrity and all that, and I do, but I don't think that this is like the worst thing that could have happened, except for the EU thing. If that was fixed, it'd be perfect, and I'd be really, really happy. And other than that, I don't really it's fine.
Okay. Let's get into another game show. All right.
Okay.
Me and Kurt have whipped up a little game show for you.
Okay.
And
brand new segment,
never before seen on Plat Chat Valorant, about to drop.
Yep.
It's called Guess That Player. Diddle-a-diddle-a-doo. I should have really
we don't have any music here?
I should have come up with a jingle for it.
Maybe we should have a jingle for it.
Guess that player from Berlin. So all of these players that I'm going to bring up in front of you are going to be from Berlin. So the idea is I have Dapper here with his stats from VCT Stage 3, right? From the very beginning, as soon as straight after Reykjavik up until when he qualified for Berlin. Or even after that, till the grand finals.
Make a guess?
Wait, whoa.
Already?
I know who it is.
Whoa, relax.
So the idea is I've shown you some of the results, some of the stats here, and I'm comparing them to somebody else, right, who plays the same role.
Okay.
And you have to see if you can figure out who it is, and you can unlock different extra stats if you need added help. I've left this one. There's 3 of them, right? This is a game show with 3 different challenges. This one is easy mode, so I'm not surprised that Balla has a great idea of who it is already. Also, Balla's a bit of a nerd, so he might have been looking over the stats himself.
I
this is completely based off of exactly who I think you would put. I literally didn't even look at the stats.
Okay, well, that's metagamers. Fuck.
That is metagamers.
Here's how I'm going to adjust for that then. You have to give me who you think it is and a statistical reason why. All right? So you have to give me some level of reasoning.
Okay. See, if I had the rest of the other ones, I would be I could give you a reason, but these ones, the first 2 don't fucking matter.
All right.
Yeah, we'd have to see more.
All right, let's unlock the first one then. So we've got higher kills per round than Dapper, a pretty significantly higher first kills per round than Dapper as well, actually, and a 5% higher percentage of kills in the attack half. Now, this one, I'll give you an extra little hint here. This one surprised me. I thought Dapper would be higher than this player in terms of attack half kills. For reference as well, most people get, like, on average, across every single player in the whole of VCT, 49% of kills happen in the attack half. So 51% happen on defense. So these players are more defensive-sided than usual, but the second unknown player is a bit more towards average.
I think the Sentinel role in general should lean more defensive-sided, so it makes sense for Dapper. And
right?
He is a very strong anchor in general.
You'd think.
However, the guy I'm thinking of is a little bit more aggressive, I'd say. I think he uses his cages a little bit better on attack, where he gets into specific spots to work picks.
Now, I also want to point out here that this isn't just Cypher stats. I've put Cypher up here, but this is Cypher. This is, all of the different agents that are being played.
Okay.
Cypher,
Viper, perhaps.
Hey, other things as well, all right? Other things as well.
I think we're on the same page here, Balla, and I think that
has Avast caught up as well.
I'm assuming based off what we've gone to so far and like Balla's initial comments, I think I have an idea. So.
Okay. Do we need another one unlocked, or are we good here and we'll just unlock them afterwards?
I think regional titles
can we guess
give it
who
away.
has
Regional titles would probably give it away.
I'm afraid we've kind of beefed the guess who has higher because we've highlighted the side that is higher. So we can maybe do that for the future, but not for this version of it. So you can see that Dapper has a higher clutch percentage.
That's actually cool though,
and higher regional titles.
I can guess now. I can give you a reason based off of the knowledge that he has a higher clutch percentage, because I think that Nats is the guy who he's not always a clutcher. He's actually in the thick of it for the most part, getting up into sites and stuff. And he's not necessarily alive last more than whatever.
A drum roll, please.
Yeah.
Wait. We got to get everybody's guesses.
Oh, true.
I think it's Nats too.
I was also leaning towards Nats.
I was just assuming everyone was on the same page with that. From what you're saying.
I mean, I thought it initially, but then especially when you started when you started talking about I'm surprised about the attack halves after you brought out your fucking attack half Google Doc.
What if it's not him?
Okay. Reveal the Nats, unless it's.
No, it is. It's Nats. I set up an easy one for you. Everyone and their nan has been talking about Dapper v Nats going into Berlin. So, I was easing you in with a classic one.
Okay.
I put down the regional titles there in case you...
Dapper. Like, he's as handsome as him. He's as fucking good at Cypher as him. He's as clutch as him, too. Like, it's sick. I'm so excited for that matchup if it ever happens.
Yeah, it should be a fantastic one. I really hope it does occur as well. I didn't know exactly what to put for regional titles there as well, actually, just as a side note. But they won Masters 1 in CIS, and they've won EMEA. So I counted that as 2 regional titles, even though one was, slightly smaller region. But, I'll give that to Nats. He has 2 regional titles at this point. All right, let's move on to the next one. Who's the next Guess That player? Okay, Nookie. So we've got Nookie versus another duelist player. This is not necessarily a Raze player, right?
Interesting.
Yeah.
And so
the judge pick rate at the bottom.
What?
The judge
pick rate. Now that actually makes it interesting.
I mean,
that's an interesting
now
stat.
I have an idea as to where this is going.
So,
but all right,
let me start off.
Yeah.
So Nookie has a slightly higher average damage per round, has quite a bit higher average kill per round as well. Where are you thinking here? Where's your brain taking you, folks?
This is a fucking trick.
This could be a trick. Yeah, this could definitely be a trick.
mean, this is an... is it too? Is this one of those where you're trying to mislead the contestants?
Can we start with can we pick a different stat than the next one that's up? Like, could we jump a stat?
No.
Or do we have to go one after another?
This is from the beginning of VCT Stage 3.
Yes, this is since I think it was like the first day of June. So this is 1st of June up until now. Is when these stats have been
and could
taken
be from any region.
From any region, but they are in Berlin.
Right.
They are in Berlin. And there
what else?
There are a lot of people who have nutty stats from bad teams as well that really make things crazy when you compare stats across regions.
Definitely. Interesting.
Why? I'm curious who your first thought is, though. If you want to just vocalize who you think is
my first thought, just because judge pick rate is on there, is Bunny. That's my first thought.
Okay.
Yeah, I was leaning either Bunny or potentially someone I'd seen when I was doing VOD review was saw Forsaken did a bunch of crazy judge shit. But
so it's not Forsaken, and I'll tell you why, because the race pick rate is higher for this guy, and Forsaken plays more Jett.
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay.
But that could also be misleading because I don't remember how it was on the last graphic. I'm trying to holy fuck.
All right, let's unlock the next one.
Yeah, they play even more Raze than Nookie.
So wait a second. This next stat though is one that I've concocted myself. It is the
You are a dork.
Yeah, it's the listen, I've got a lot of ones that I've concocted myself coming up. This is that's for next week. This is the first kill per round divided by first death per round. So this is what this means is it's just if it was 1, it means you get first picks as much as you die first, right? So you want this to be above 1.
Right. So the person on the right
dies first quite a lot more than they get the first pick.
Okay.
This is not a trick anymore. I don't think. I think we're on to it.
I think the raise percentage. That
if it's way higher, then yes, for sure.
Yeah, I think the raise percentage has done it. And the
does he even play anything else?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I can't remember, but I mean, all I think
I'm pretty sure last I checked, Bunny had like an 80-something, 90-something% pick rate on raise.
Yeah,
I mean,
there's just it to be 100.
There's just Who else dies that much though on Raze as well? I mean, Bunny is a fucking intern. I mean, who else?
Okay.
You guys want to see the pick rate?
No, I'm not. I don't mean it's necessarily a bad thing.
Okay.
I think Bunny's a way more aggressive player than Nookie.
Right.
So there's a big difference. That isn't. I'm not saying that that's a bad thing.
Well,
it's a different style.
We can like narrow people out, right? It's definitely not like an Asuna. It's definitely not like a Tens. It's not somebody who is like just a straight up duelist type of player, right? Because this could be technically like a Reyna or something like that too. Somebody who plays a lot more Jett like that. Just because we don't, once we see the race pick rate, that'll change things. But there are other people. I don't know. We can narrow that out.
Well, let's take a look at the Raze pick rate then.
I mean, it's fun.
Yeah,
I mean, it's pretty obvious.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's
all right. Well, let's take a look at the judge pick rate here just to make sure. Oh,
that's just so fucking crazy.
Yeah.
15.4%. Wyatt, who do you think it is?
I think that's probably Bunny.
Okay, let's take a look. It is. It's F4Q's own Bunny.
Oh my god.
It is
15% judge pick rate.
What I find so interesting about doing stuff like this, though, is that you can tell that it's Bunny just by looking at the stats. You don't have to look at any of the like footage at all, and you can see how he plays just in terms of the statistics.
That's what I mean. The first death versus kill, and I don't mean that that's a bad thing when I say he's a fucking inter. He's just mega aggressive.
He double blast packing in everywhere. Yeah.
The difference between how Nookie and Bunny play the same agent is it couldn't be further apart.
And they're in the same group for Berlin as well. So this is a matchup that is quite likely to happen. And I think that's going to be very funny to watch. Or funny, amusing, interesting, all of the above to watch Nookie adjust to how Bunny plays Raze, because I feel like you have to adjust to Bunny. You don't adjust to Nookie, you adjust to Bunny. But I think that's very funny. All right, let's go on to the third one. Clue. I can't even remember which one I picked. I made 6 of these. Oh, shit, yeah, I love this one, actually. Okay, so starting things off.
Vandal pick percentage. Vandal pick percentage.
Starting things off here, this is Crashies versus another initiator player.
I mean, that is a high KPR for an initiator.
It is.
0.88,
and actually,
at like
I'll be more
1.
kind to you here as well. This is someone. This is someone I've only used their Sova stats here. So this is.
I actually think I know who it is right now.
Really?
Yeah, I think I know who it is.
Just from the KPR and the first kills per round.
I think so.
All right. We'll see what the others think as well.
I want to see where you guys are at. I'm trying to think.
Because this is another player at Berlin who plays Sova. And this is
just their Sova stats.
Yeah, they play other stuff as well, but this is just a Sova comparison.
Never mind. They're at Berlin. I'm an idiot.
Okay, so Crashies is an excellent player. For my money, is like one of the best. So probably, if I had to rank literal just Sova players, I think I'd put him as the best Sova in the world. But this player has a lot higher KPR and almost double the first kills per round as well.
It's definitely not another NA. So
it's not Hiko.
That's for sure. Not Hiko.
Yeah, it's obviously not an NA.
I mean, I think I know who it is.
What region are you now?
I think it's NTK. From Vivo Keyed.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Where are your other brains going?
Oh, man.
Yeah, I
mean,
want Brazil, but I would. Yeah, I don't know enough about NTK.
I was thinking potentially. So I was leaning towards like either like also maybe like an RB or a Lakia type, you know. But I don't think that's who it is. I feel like
I can tell you can rule out Lakia because he hasn't even been playing.
That's true. He hasn't been playing. Yeah, that's fair.
He's literally only been playing Sky on binds.
Yeah,
it's not Lakia.
All of stage. Yeah, I guess so.
He hasn't played as far as I'm aware. He's not played a single game.
Yeah, that's right. But they've also had this weird rotation where he comes into play Sky anyways when like they've had RB playing Sky. So I don't know what the fuck is going on. So
it's very odd.
It's very strange with that.
I bet the assists per round are very, very similar. I bet you. Can
we just see another stat?
Yeah, let's see assists per round.
Oh, wow.
Because that is a big difference. I can tell you in terms of like the delta here, these players could not be more different in terms of how they play Sova.
It has to be. I think it's NTK.
I think it's NTK too.
I think it's NTK.
Think of the other Sova players.
I think Crane is a bit more similar to Crashies than different. And I'm trying to think who else. Before I don't want to lock it in though. I'm just talking my thoughts out because I'm trying to think of the EU Sovas as well. Like, I don't think actually it could be Russ from SMB, but I don't think it's Keylez. I don't think it's.
I mean, does Keyless even play Sova for
Yeah,
them?
he does.
Does he?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh.
Yeah, so, well, definitely not Keyless. I'm trying to think who are the other EU Sovas.
Metagaming.
I can't. My brain is slowing down.
So
other EU Sovas. Redgar plays Sova for Gambit.
Redgar.
Chronicle plays Sova for
Redgar.
Gambit as well.
Yeah. That's it. You listed them all at this point.
I'm just trying to think of the the hard fragging Sovas, and the two that I'm thinking of right now. Still, I think NTK is most likely for me. I think Russ is a possibility from SMB, and I don't think this would be I don't think this is going to be an SEA or.
How much lower is?
Dude, you are a Laz simp. This could be. Oh man, it could be Laz.
I do like Laz. He's probably the best player from Japan,
and he's been playing Sova Sky for ZETA Division, and he's a good fragger.
His Sky stats are unbelievable. I looked them up last night.
Was this made last night?
I made this last night, but I also, but Avast, I made all of these last night, and I'll also point out that the ones in the future are going to be much more like this rather than the easy bullshit I spoon fed you for the first
couple
two.
Spoon, I it has to be an aggressive Sova.
I think it has to be one of Laz or NTK.
All right, let's see this shock dart and ult.
But Chronicle is
one of these has been matchups that are very interesting. It's never been just like crashes against somebody random that they'll never fucking play. Like that is another little meta thing that.
But wasn't like Chronicle like hyper aggressive?
And Laz are both in Envy's group, so it has to be one of those two.
I'll go with
NTK.
This statistic that I've got here is how much of all of the kills they got in stage 3, what percentage were gained via utility? So Sova ults and shock darts.
Okay.
Which again,
so it's a rifler.
New Josh
Sova.
level stat.
Wait, I'm metagaming. Hold on.
So
Vandal pick percentage, Vandal, and Turkish player. Am I connecting any dots here?
Wait, but wouldn't that go for Brazil too? Doesn't N2K pick a lot of Vandal as well? I believe.
I think NTK does, but the Vandal is synonymous with the Turkish players.
I can tell you from my investigations last night, a lot of Sova players have a tendency towards Vandal. Okay. And I'll point out that this Vandal pick percentage stat is out of the rifles that you could buy. So it's out of Operator, Phantom, or Vandal, which of those three? So I'm not counting all rounds like eco rounds, pistol rounds, stuff like that. It's in buy rounds. What do they pick?
Well, it's in rounds that they pick a rifle.
Yes, in the rounds in which they pick a rifle or an op, which do they pick? And I also included Odin in this for Sova players, actually.
God, do we want to just see this last stat, or do we want to?
So it's not Laz. It's not Laz because the shock dart ult kills are way too low. He is much more of a nerd than I think some of the other Sovas. So yeah, I don't think it's Laz.
Do you feel like you can guess, or do you want to see the final stat? That's kind of embarrassing that you guys still don't know who it is at this point.
I kind of want to lock into my initial instinct, which is that it's NTK from
you get one guess and you're out, by the way.
I kind of want to go. I kind of want to, but
just die. You can't play the next one.
Oh, what do you think? What do you think?
I think I'm gonna go with NTK.
I could take one for the team here, and I might say NTK, but if it's not him, it has to be Russ.
No. I think Wyatt, your logic has sold me a bit, because after watching them play, I feel like this totally fucking fits, and like how we watch them play. I actually think it's Russ.
Wait,
I think it's Russ. I think I might.
Who else on SMB is getting kills? Izzy and
Izzy gets a lot of kills. I think
Turco.
Turco pounds.
Turco. Turco. That's true.
So think about it in like ratio. In that, right? Crash is the third best on his team. So he's 0.75.
I'm gonna lock in NTK.
Okay,
yes,
I'm locking in NTK.
I'm locking in Russ. I think Wyatt. I think you were on the right path, and I think it's Russ. After watching SMB play,
if Avast beats us, I'm gonna be fucking furious.
Balla, are you locking in NTK, or do you want to see the final one?
Let's look at the final one. Yeah, fuck you guys. You guys got screwed.
All right, let's look at it.
Look at that, man.
77% Vandal pick
I'm
rate.
telling you, it's gotta be Russ. It's gotta be Russ.
Yeah, it has to be Russ.
What are you thinking, Balla?
Oh, no.
Oh, fuck you guys. Does it really? I haven't watched enough Brazil, man. Does it really have to be Russ?
I mean,
Yeah,
NTK is like this. He's the second fragger on Vivo Keyed. It's Heat, and then it's NTK. Which is why I think it's NTK.
Okay, so Wyatt and Balla have gone for NTK. Avast has gone for Russ. Unveil the player.
Oh,
it is.
There it is.
It's Red Dragon Vandal Russ from SMB.
God, as soon as I saw the Vandal pick percentage, I knew it. Oh God, I knew it had to be him. But then I'm like, no, I gotta go.
Why'd you drag me with you though, man?
I was arguing with you guys, and you would not believe me.
Yeah, I mean, I
You
can
would
tell
not
you,
believe me.
I can tell you, NTK was not one of the players that I actually pulled stats for. So his stats might be very similar to Russ's. I don't know.
I'm gonna check.
I'm looking at his stats right now too. Let me see his stats. So
I'm also
NTK's stats are.
I'm going to tease some stuff for next week as well. I've got this planned again for next week. I've already pulled 3 people or 3 comparisons as well. They're gorgeous. The stats in Valorant are so lovely in terms of being able to compare.
NTK, it's 0.75.
Yeah, it's 0.7.
It's like
so he's
not
actually
even
identical to Crashies.
I thought that the difference between Russ and Crashies there was so unbelievably extreme. Like, other ends of the spectrum. Russ is just relying on rifling to bang people out.
Yeah.
Just so often. And he is an incredibly skilled player. But yeah.
That was a good last one, though.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
I think it's so freaking cool that you're able to do that with the stats that are available right now, because they're actually rudimentary. Like, very, very rudimentary. But you're still able to get, like, the shock dart. That is so sick. But you can imagine some of the stuff that you can come up with later on, like when they actually like allow more ability usage stats to come out. Like,
I mean, huge shout out to runitback.gg, which is what I used to gather almost all of this information. I took their info and ported it into a spreadsheet that I could use to add stuff up and create new stats and compare stuff. So yeah, huge shout out to runitback.gg. They are fucking awesome in terms of the analytics they provide for Valorant. Okay, let's move on then, because we want to talk about Japan and Southeast Asia in this episode too. We already did our mini recap of like LATAM, Crew, and Vivo Keyed and Havana Liberty. So now the other major area, in fact, the last area for us to cover before we go into Berlin itself, is Japan and Southeast Asia. The team that's returning is Crazy Raccoon. They finished in last place when it came to Reykjavik. They have 1 returning Japanese player, Neth, and they have 2 returning Korean players, Munchkin and Medusa. They've also created a 7-player roster, I think.
Yeah.
And are rotating them around for some reason.
They have a 6-player roster as well. They just all have subs.
And so I guess the question at this point really is, how much have they improved? What do you think the level of Crazy Raccoon is, and should we be expecting something different to their unfortunate lackluster performance in Reykjavik?
What is their group again? They have Gambit and 100 Thieves in their group, right? And
they've got a pretty hard group.
Yeah.
What is it? Gambit, 100 Thieves, and
Havana Liberty as well.
Yeah. I think they. I think they're going to come in last in this group. Unfortunately, I don't think Crazy Raccoon have particularly improved very much. I think Zeta Division significantly improved from where they were at in the previous qualifier. And I think the Crazy Raccoon are still... They have some decent firepower, but I just think that their attack sides still look rather unimpressive. Very straightforward 4-1s that are incredibly readable. They don't have the same level of pace and explosive utility on their hits either, despite playing with a lot of Sky. I don't think they capitalize off of it enough in the side hits. And their lurking 1 is always really passive, not really taking significant space.
Yeah.
And I think it's just you're gonna end up in this place where they, even if they have good defensive sides, I think that their attack halves against good competition are gonna be pretty poor. They're really gonna struggle to get rounds, and that's going to cost the maps at the end of the day. Because I think that the better teams are just going to understand which site they're hitting quite obviously round and round again.
Yeah. I mean, I kind of agree with the majority of what you're saying. However, I do think that they have improved, right? Like, this isn't a team it's not the same team at Iceland. Obviously, they've replaced some players. They've gotten way more players too, but the important pieces, which is Fisker and who's the other guy that Fisker is now playing their Jett instead of Zephyr, who's no longer on the team. And then they also moved Neth, who was playing their Sentinel, to their controller role. I think that Fisker is very good. He understands Jett very well, and he actually does things that will get him into, like, he's using Jett for the reason that all the other teams who are doing very well with Jett are, right? Where he's taking good space, he's being kind of patient, and he's punishing mistakes as well. So that's promising. However, it's just not promising enough. It's just not. Their executes are good ideas, but they consistently are getting chopped up, if that makes any sense, where their timings get messed up because of a specific thing that I only watched the game against ZETA Division, but they consistently were just getting stuck, right? Where all of a sudden Fisker's way ahead of him or everybody else, and Munchkin also plays with a higher pace that I just don't see this team going far. I don't even think we said this last time, but I don't even think that they should be close unless Munchkin has another Reykjavik type performance.
Did they win a map at Reykjavik? I don't believe they did, right?
No.
No.
It
was just that I think they just had closer maps than were expected against, like, version 1 in the first game. And
with the benefit of hindsight, though, that version 1 game, they were trying a comp they'd never played before, right?
Yes.
And
there was some reason.
Yeah. Because I was actually today, I didn't see this when we were doing our co-stream of Reykjavik, but there was an incredibly emotional interview with Neth. I don't know whether any of you, the rest of you, have seen it too. When Neth was being interviewed by the Japanese interviewer, and he started crying immediately in the interview, and then the interviewer started choking up as well, and just talking about kind of their run. And I feel like their overperformance against version 1, because version 1 were not taking the game 100%, and then their inability to even take a map off X10, who were mostly considered to be the second worst team at the event. I think that seemed to have hit them pretty hard emotionally.
Yeah.
So I think at this point, what do you think they should be aiming to try and take away from a visit to Berlin? Like, if their expectations previously were, maybe we can compete at the world stage, and they got crushed, what do you think are good things that the Japanese scene, and specifically Crazy Raccoon, who've been there before, can try and take away from Berlin to get better, or at least for it to have some value and meaning to them, to go to these events and just potentially get pounded?
Do you mean in terms of, like, what would be a good result for them?
A good result, a good mentality, like a good thing to work on, something to learn from. Like, what should the purpose of them going to Berlin be if they don't look like a team that's going to make it out of groups? Like, what should their goal be and their expectations?
I mean, I don't think realistically, I don't think there's any chance they can get out of a group that has 100 Thieves and Gambit in it. I mean, I just don't think that's even a possibility. I think a reasonable performance from them would even be if they can get their first map at an event, taking a map off of On Liberty, because I think the Von Liberty are a pretty good team. I think that would be respectable. At the end of the day, I think, though, it's just that they need to. I think they really need to just look at their attack house. That's what it comes down to for me. And if they can take if they're able to have some close games, maybe, or a decent map against 100 Thieves or Gambit, and try and adopt a bit of what they learned from playing against them in regards to how they actually structure their site hits, and just their general approach to attack, that would really help them significantly.
Yeah, they should not have high expect. I mean, realistically, I think what was their group in Iceland too? It was like,
well, they didn't have a group,
they
but
played
or not their group, I should say.
They played
V1 and X10.
And they played X10.
Yeah, so, like, they have, like, even less of a chance to show in this particular group they've been placed in than what it was like for them in Iceland. Honestly, I think So it's pretty rough. And like all the Balla and Wyatt have already put forward all the issues, in particular, like their attack halves. Like they just feel like that. You can tell when you can just look at the difference between them and their like the tempo that when they get on the site and when they execute. And like how Balla said, how Fisker is like sometimes a million miles away from the rest of the team as they're executing. So like I don't think the expectations are high, even though they've improved, and their initial start in Berlin is going to be harder than it was for them at Iceland. So ideally, taking a map from like Havan Liberty, I think.
Is that reasonable? Do you think that that's a feasible thing, that they could take a map from Havan Liberty? Because I think even that is going to be extraordinarily
I think that would be really hard, because Havan Liberty reminds me of like essentially, it kind of reminds me of like how I felt about Sharks coming in and like looking like pretty good in Iceland, obviously, which like not the same team by any means, like very different team. But I don't think that's really that doable for them either. But it's more doable than taking a map from 100 Thieves or Gambit.
Here's the thing.
You know?
I mean, if they're fucking around like V1 was, maybe.
Yeah.
Like,
here's
right.
but,
Sure.
That's not gonna happen.
I mean, we saw at the last event, Munchkin did have a really great individual performance at Iceland. They do have firepower on the team, and if they're in the zone, I could see them taking a map off of Havan.
Bazzi as well.
I think Havan have good firepower, but it's not amazing. And that is one area where, look, on the right day, they could win out crucial rounds just because of some aim diff if Munchkin is in the zone, Bazzi's in the zone, right?
Yeah.
And that is probably the realistic way that they win, because I think in terms of the structure and the pace and just the Havan Liberty, or when you can clearly, if you just put a site execute of Havan and Raccoon side by side, you can clearly see the difference in how they play out, in how much more coordinated Havan is with all of the timings. It is a huge difference. So I think it's look, yeah, they're in a tough group. It's going to be tough for them, but hopefully they can if they could at least take a map, that would be great. Should even like some somehow get a close map against like 100 Thieves or Gambit, just because for whatever reason, individual skill, whatever it is in that moment, that would still be good for them, honestly.
Success for them at Berlin, like a good result is they get some sightseeing done. They eat some good food. They make some good friends. Like that's it's a little harsh, but
the
like
friends you made along the way. I mean,
I understand what you're saying, Balla. I understand.
But at the end of the day, it's like also we're given, we're hoping that they can like take a map. That's on them to put the work in, and I don't think that they have addressed enough of the issues since Iceland.
Sure.
And other teams, I think, have.
I think that's unfair, because I do feel that they made such bounds and leaps differences.
Really?
Between
I
them
think they're better,
yes.
but no, again, what I just said, I think they are better, but I think when you compare it to the improvements that other teams and regions have made of the minor regions, I don't think that they've improved as much as the other teams.
Who?
Well, if you say the other minor regions, though, I'm not...
ZETA Division? I think ZETA...
Yeah, no, ZETA Division
I think their
improved.
counterpart in the region.
But like the SEA teams, I don't feel as good about as maybe I even felt about X10 when I was looking at those. I know that we'll get onto that later on too, but that's another minor region that I feel has had similar levels of improvement as Crazy Raccoon, honestly. I almost feel like ZETA are the outlier in terms of in terms of the teams that have qualified, in that they looked significantly better than the last time that I'd seen them.
Yeah.
It was just kind of a bit sluggish improvement. Considering we're 3 months back. Wait, 3? 4? Well, we're going to be 4 months out from Berlin. I was hoping we would see a team qualify from Japan that didn't have like the language problems and that kind of stuff, which is why I'm so happy that ZETA Division did qualify, especially ahead of Crazy Raccoon, because they've shown more potential, I think, than that squad. Would you agree there that the ZETA Division look to be the team that could maybe do something more so than Crazy Raccoon?
Yeah, and they have the group to do it as well.
They have a better group for it. Yeah, they have a way better group.
Well, let's talk ZETA Division. They're in a group with crew. Oh, sorry, go on, Balla.
I was just gonna say, even like you think of it independently from groups, like ZETA Division definitely looked like the better team who has a chance comparatively.
Yeah, the final ended up being 3-2, I think, in ZETA Division's favor. But a lot of the, I don't know, when I was watching the game, and it really felt to me like ZETA Division had much more control over what was going on and were dictating the flow of this final more than Crazy Raccoon were, and they were just getting caught off guard sometimes. Now, that is also, I mean, Split is ZETA Division's permaban, so they lost on that. And then Breeze is a new map, so I don't know whether they've had the time to really.
No, ZETA Division didn't lose.
Oh, sorry,
on Split.
ZETA Division won on Split, even though it was their permaban. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's
there was. I mean, I don't know how serious some of these games were, given that it was the seeding final. It's, I guess, impossible to know. But there were some silly rounds on that Split map, man. I think, like, Kurt, could you pull up round 8 on Split?
The judge.
No. This, I think. We'll see. Hopefully, I have the right round.
Also, throughout that series, Crow has probably like one of the longest list of agent played in a series. Like Crow has like 6 agents played in a single series.
Yeah, and ZETA Division have a 6-man team as well.
It's interesting.
They have subs
too. They have 2 controller players. And one who plays Makiba plays Astra and Viper. And then Bars comes in to play Brim and Omen, which is like
Split.
Yeah, he came in to play Brim, which is like it's funny to have a Brim specialist, but yeah, they do.
Where does he play Omen? Is this didn't play it in the finals?
I don't know, but we were talking to some, or at least I was talking in my stream to some Japanese fans, and they were saying that was the split for them. So.
Yeah, it's pretty. I mean, this was. There were some funny moments in this game. There were some funny moments in this game. Crazy Raccoon just they just walk up mid. There was a smoke down male. They're posted up with 3 in ropes, and they're about to breach flash, which looks like it's going to do some damage as there are 2 ZETA Division players at the bottom of ropes.
The dog sees everybody as well, and there's no adjustment. This is what I don't. I mean,
this goes horribly wrong. Bars gets flashed, and they just don't notice Takashi in the corner, and he just gets some free ones. Oh, it's actually the very next round has another crazy moment right at the beginning, Kurt. If you want to play the beginning of round 9.
But when I watch these rounds, though, even from ZETA Division, what I like about ZETA Division is that they have good plans. Like, I can see what their defensive plan is, but when it got tested in these maps, they kind of crumbled a bit. Like, their protocol of, if we get pushed here, how do we reposition? How do we throw utility? Like, that kind of stuff didn't really seem to exist for them to the degree that it should when you look at their game plan. Like, their game plan looks good, but then something unexpected happens and everyone just scatters in different directions and they end up getting picked off. And that is really going to hurt them against top teams.
Here we go. I mean, this
round is just papille.
Yeah, there were some.
But
there
again,
were some
I like
silly
that
rounds in this game.
uses this opportunity to go for a pick because the dog was coming through. That is an area where if they'd managed to execute properly, could have got a kill.
Does he get out?
That's fucking crazy.
It continues. Look at this.
It goes further. Look at this. Teleport from the Omen. I'm behind you now.
This round was unbelievable.
Fucking nothing personnel.
I mean, this was an unbelievable round.
I mean, if you had to break this down at Berlin, what the hell would you even say?
The TP. I mean, that's going.
The balls from Neth.
That's going to be on. That's on your For You page right there, right onto the For You page.
But these kind of rounds happen with some level of consistency in both Japan and Southeast Asia, and they have done for a while. And yeah, when I'm thinking about ZETA Division, I definitely think they have a higher chance than Crazy Raccoon of taking maps. Do I think they can take a series win away from Vivo Keyed or Crew? No, I don't. And I suppose Crew on paper is the team that they should be able to do it against, that first round game.
Yeah.
But I think Crew are a relatively decent team, and they've certainly got their game plan nailed down a bit better than ZETA Division. I don't really see.
I think that's a super interesting match. Like,
I
think it's interesting, but I don't
that much, and they were still better than them before. Well, I'm saying them as ZETA wasn't even there. I'm just thinking of like the relative matchups and stuff. I think that this could be really cool to see.
My takeaway from Reykjavik though was that Crew looked, even though Crew ended up being eliminated fairly early on, I thought Crew looked better than Crazy Raccoon and probably X10 as well, even though they ended up being eliminated in the same area. And so Zeta Division have improved, and they've got some good stuff that they do, but they're still lacking in other areas that I think are seriously going to hurt them in these kind of games. I could see them taking a map. I don't see them being able to make it to the lower bracket final, though. I think that would be very hard.
I am impressed with the individual skill on Zeta Division, though. I mean, Laz aside, I thought that...
Rata, Takage?
Yeah, I mean, Rata was solid on Jett, and Takage is excellent on Reyna, and also on that split map, his Sage was really good. Yeah. His util usage was excellent. His wall timings on defense were super great.
The first bullet accuracy from that guy as well is nutty good.
Yeah, he's an excellent... They have some excellent firepower on Zeta Division, more so, I think, than Crazy Raccoon, which is one of the reasons why I think that they're doing better than them right now. But I do think that Zeta Division could beat Crew. I think it is very possible. I think that that's a pretty close game, honestly.
I think one point that I had about Zeta Division is that they are probably the most off-meta team at Berlin. Like, by far, they're playing more Breach than anybody. They're playing weird combinations of controllers. They're not playing Sentinels on a lot of places, and when they're playing Sentinel, it's like was playing Laz, right?
Yeah,
they're playing. I don't know. They're probably the most off-meta team.
I mean, F4Q are pretty off-meta as well, but
no, but they're off-meta in the way that they play, not necessarily like the agents.
Right,
either,
not the comps. Know? Okay, yeah, they do play Reyna every map.
I mean, but
that is somewhat common.
Also, a bit of a plus we didn't touch on for Crazy Raccoon. I do think Crazy Raccoon they're playing good comps as well. I think
they're playing on meta.
Yeah, they're playing on meta, and if they do play against teams that are off meta and it's not working, that could be another a sticking point for them where they get a bit of an advantage.
Okay. But you're saying
all the minor regions seem to be playing right.
I think it's an advantage for Zeta Division to play off meta, and I think specifically against Crew it could be too, because Crew plays not off meta, but they play the complex EU shit. Like they just copy
they do.
whatever EU's playing and whatever looks really, really cool, right? Right now they're playing the Ascend comp on Bind, and pretty much every single map they just pluck out of an EU VOD, right? Straight up. And the reason why I liked it initially when I was watching Crew, because I like those comps. It's like why we like FPX, right? It's just like cool comps and shit that I like to fuck with. But when you watch them execute it, it's clearly to a level below how the EU teams are playing, and it's like they don't fully understand it yet, and that's why they could be caught off, because this is something that you're never going to play against what Zeta Division plays if you're Crew. You know?
Sure. Yeah. I can understand that aspect. Yeah, definitely. Especially if the Crew guys end up. What I've noticed from watching Crew as well is that part of their not understanding how the EU comps work, I think, is that they try and take too many individual fights. So they almost act like they want to be playing more duelists, but they're playing a lot of the non-duelist characters that would benefit from them trying to take less fights and more setup. And whereas Crew are like, fucking Kesnet and Nag are like, I'll take the fight. Why not? I'll go and fight you. And then if they die, that's a crucial piece of the puzzle that's missing there. If they end up just trying to aim duel and things get scrappy, Zeta Division have got the chops to be able to take it, I think. So, you're selling me a little bit here, but I still don't think there's any chance of them making it out of the group, right? You're just saying that they would end up maybe making lower final
percentage. I think it's a strong chance that Vivo, Keed, and Envy make it out, right?
Yeah,
you would. Expect
I don't know how they would even. They would have to have like an incredible performance, because like, I mean, Vivo Keed can also be a little DMy at times.
I mean,
play.
You can't. But like, Zeta Division can't out scrappy Vivo Keed.
They're not gonna be able to beat. They're not gonna be able to beat like them.
But also,
they're not gonna be able to out scrappy Heat.
But also, Vivo Keed have not been performing at this like hot level the entire time throughout stage 3. No. So if that hot form at the end of Brazil was just that, a hot streak, and they cool down a bit as they enter Berlin, then I could see, a Crew being on a pretty even footing with them if they cool down significantly on an individual level. And if, they return back to where we would have expected Vivo Key to be as like maybe the third team or something like that. So maybe there's a universe there where a Crew sneaks out of this group or something instead, but it would be so hard for Zeta to get through. I want to ask you
doable, genuinely.
Yeah, sure. I want to ask you the same question though that I asked before. What should ZETA Division's aspirations be? They've seen the Japanese mixed with the Korean team go and represent Japan, and they've seen them get demolished. I mean, they got demolished. And I can imagine that might have been, at some level, embarrassing as well for Japan, that they got knocked out that early after the region had attached itself so heavily to Valorant. There's a lot of viewers there. Yeah,
like
they still
160K for
it's only growing.
It's crazy.
It's only growing.
Yeah.
But the expectations can't be the same levels of viewership. It's not like all of those viewers are watching thinking, we're going to win this time. They must have recognized that they got trounced last time. They're still only on an even level with Crazy Raccoons right now. What do you think would be a reasonable expectation here? Is it winning a series? Is it just winning a map? What is it?
Win a series.
Okay.
I think it's doable for them to beat Crew, and that would be a very cool win for not only them, the region, maybe a significant point in just Japanese and in Japan's history in Valorant when we look back moving forward, because it seems the region has taken a liking to the game. And that is a crucial part of the region fielding really good teams as well. That there are fans, there's support. That the support structure that comes from having a lot of fans, and then fans for the orgs, etc. So I think beating Crew is a very reasonable ask of them, and that should be a goal. If they take a map off Crew and lose a close BO3, and then they go out in the lower bracket, something like that. Even that is obviously better than Iceland.
Sure.
But I just think it's so doable for them to beat Crew. It's a very close game.
It's an attainable goal.
But it's I've in my mind looking at that, I feel like it's got to be around somewhere from like 60-40 to 50-50 in the direction of Crew. I think it's very close. I really do.
Okay.
I really think the players on ZETA Division are strong individual players. I think they have a real shot at winning that, and I think that should be their goal, given that I think it's that close. I think it's very doable.
Okay. Overall, though... sorry. Go on, Balla.
I think expectation to win the game against Crew is good. But I do think that they should be rooting for something higher, because I think this is the perfect time for Japan to really take root. So I think rooting for something better than that, which would be not making out of groups, I think that's unreasonable. I think if you set your expectations too high, you're gonna get crumbled on. But playing a good game against Envy specifically, I think they should be targeting like an NA team. I think that'd be really fun. Playing a good map against them, I think could be something that we can hold on to and say, hold on, Japan has a chance, which would be so cool.
Okay. Would you agree that Japan looks like the weakest region? Or do you think it's still very up in the air? We're about to move on to SEA, but I just want to touch base, see, finger on the pulse. Japan weakest? Is it similar to Reykjavik? Or have they got a chance here of being higher than that?
I'd say yes, but let me add something here, is that I've only watched the final, so I can't really look at the average strength of the region, right? In terms of the teams going to Berlin, yes.
Wait, yes to which?
To Japan being weakest.
To Japan being weakest? You think so?
Yeah, I actually think Bren Esports and Paper Rex they're actually looking better than Japan.
Think so?
I think so.
I think
that's my personal view.
Pretty damn close.
I think Paper Rex specifically, yeah.
Yeah, Paper Rex specifically.
Yeah, I think it's pretty damn close, but I don't know. Maybe I need to watch more of the SEA. I only watched the one match between the two teams, but I really like ZETA Division, honestly.
Sure.
I really think that they've got something.
Okay.
But I guess it's kind of a cop-out, but I feel like it's super close.
Yeah.
Honestly.
I mean, it's very hard to call the strength of regions before you go into a major event like this. So now I think it's time to move on to... we've got a reporter live in the field. We've got a reporter live in the field ready to comment on Bren Esports. I believe Bren is here with a report on Bren Esports.
Oh, that's very convenient that we have the owner of Bren Esports, Brennan Hook,
We've managed to get him all the way over to SEA. We managed to find him to get him over to the HQ maybe of the team.
No wonder he was
potentially.
let loose of his cage. No fucking wonder you guys let him out for the day.
Finally, he's back with field reporting.
There he is. He's watching G2 versus Gambit.
Hello there. Hello.
Oh.
Hi. Are
okay, I do love that Sideshow's mic is a lint roller.
See you, so I was just wondering. We are a long way away. You're in SEA, of course. Hi, thank you.
Yeah, I am.
Bren, the owner of Bren Esports.
He's got the lint roller microphone. They have to share
unofficial
this.
owner.
Unofficial, but you put your name on it.
Yes.
Okay, Bren, the unofficial owner of Bren Esports. What kind of aspirations do you have for your team heading into Masters Berlin?
We're going to win it all. We're going to win it all. Bren Lang Malakas.
Okay, no, absolutely, I agree with that. What do you think about dubstep? You like dubstep?
Dubstep as a player, I think mechanically best player at Berlin. Mechanically. Emphasis on mechanically. The team's brain were different.
Different in the sense that your brain is different? Have they learned a lot from watching your ranked gameplay?
Sorry, I took the mic away from you. I've instilled a level of... so I like to incorporate in my streams this D20. And I make a lot of my decisions based off the outcome of the D20 dice. I rolled a 15. And basically, I use that number to generate what we should do in rounds, and I've instilled that mentality into my team of Bren Esports. So we got a lot going for us in Berlin. I'm going to be honest with you. A lot of people are hating on the minor regions right now. A lot of people are hating on Bren Esports. They think, oh, we're going to be the weakest. Group D. Oh, Sentinels. Oh, G2. Oh, fuck you. I don't know how to pronounce that team's name.
F4Q.
Fuck you.
Okay.
Don't tell me how to pronounce names.
Okay, sorry, Bren, of Bren Esports, unofficially.
Unofficially, I don't want to get sued. But we have a lot going for us. Like, I mean, I can explain. What do you want to know?
What I'd like to know is how serious do you believe that grand final was when you played against Paper Rex? A lot of people are saying that Paper Rex are the best team in the region, and they're putting a bit of shame on the Bren name.
We won, right? It's 3-0.
Yes, but you lost the upper bracket final, and people are saying that was more serious. That was for seeding. That was to get you there in the first place. How would you respond to those allegations, accusations?
When you go into esports, you put your life on the line. You know what I mean? Every match matters. Every map matters. You know, we went through that in the Overwatch League for the longest time. Every map matters. Same applies here. Yes. The finals essentially had already decided who went to Berlin, the more important matches. Yes, it was for money and slight seeding. Yes, the group structure of Berlin doesn't really make that much sense. What was the question?
Dude, this guy.
Bren, any final words for all the fans out there of Bren and esports?
Guy.
Don't underestimate us. Bren Esports coming into this event has got a lot going for us, I think. Mechanically, we're different. We're just different. We can hang with the best. I think we can go toe to toe. In terms of the, thank you very much. In terms of the strategy, I'm not going to beat around the bush. We use this to decide a lot of strategy that goes on. But I think this is going to work towards us here. I don't know if you guys have been discussing it on your little show, quote unquote. You're not real journalists. I don't know if you've been discussing this, but I think chaos is the only thing a lot of these minor region teams have got going for them. Injecting that chaos. You look at the teams in that group. Fuck you. And F4Q. G2. Sentinels are not going to be Sentinels. I think they're probably one of the favorites coming into the tournament, if not the favorites. G2, I'm looking at them right now, watching this. Do you know what I'm seeing?
A good team from EMEA?
Structure. Discipline. too much of that. Oh, what the fuck? Dubstep's pushing mid. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, why are they flashing here? Why are they flashing here? Oh, where's the smoke come from? Oh, there's an arrow. What's this arrow? Why is this arrow clearing this one particular spot? They don't have it for this now. They're going to get in their heads with that. And when you play against structure, they don't know what to do against the chaos. And that chaos is what's going to literally cause them to qualify out of the groups. Group D.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
No problem.
We'll leave you now.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Yeah, that was a little interview with Bren of Bren Esports.
Bren Lang Malakas.
I mean, I'm stunned. I'm stunned and confused.
I don't think
he works for Bren Esports.
I don't know if he works at all.
The more I talk to him, the less I understood about Valorant.
I do. I like at least that. I like how you tried to trick him by just asking him what he thought about dubstep.
I really thought he wouldn't know who dubstep was.
I love Skrillex.
I was seriously hoping that Bren had done zero research about Bren Esports there.
I was a big fan of when you started asking questions and he went on a huge rant and then he stopped after about 2 to 3 minutes and said, "What was the question again?" I was a big fan of that moment.
Yeah. All right. Bren Esports though.
Translated what he said.
Oh yeah. What did he say?
Means just Bren strong.
Wait, what? Just Bren strong.
That's what Google Translate says, at least.
I mean, I think that has to.
I hope that's
probably
Google.
A Google Translate.
I mean, it might be Bren though. Where did Bren get it from? Probably Google as well. Google in, Google out. You got nonsense in, nonsense out.
Yeah.
All right, Bren Esports though. SEA in general. Let's just talk about the whole region as a whole. So Bren Esports and PaperX as well. Do they have a chance here in Berlin? The last time we saw SEA play, it was X10, it was Padapan. There was a lot of hype around them. They had this star player. They also showed off a bunch of really cool, interesting strats too. Remember, like Padapan's wall into mid, and they're like running through Ascent.
I mean, you got to appreciate the level of confidence that they approached the games with, despite I don't know, going up against such strong competition. You know, like they were willing to switch around agents on maps that they had already played mid-tournament. Just
they brought out new
little
agents.
tactics. Yeah, new agents. It was very cool. They played with a super fast tempo. They were a cool team, a cool team to watch.
But this isn't them. This is 2 other different SEA teams. Padapan is also like semi-retired for a while, right? I think he said he's coming back later.
Injured.
Oh, he's injured, right? So these are 2 separate teams. You said earlier, Balla, that PaperX especially had caught your eye.
Yeah.
Why was that?
I think that they had. So they're playing on meta. They're playing double initiator type of stuff, and in general, they're doing more. Right? They're doing. I've seen newer things from them, like specifically on the Icebox map. Like, I'm seeing new Killjoy mollies that are denying specific places where a lot of EU and NA teams really, really like to play on. Like, there's like mollies top 410. There's specific things that are pushing people out of areas. They just have good ideas, good strats, and it's a little bit of everything too, right? There's defaulting, there's full executes, there's trap plays, there's full on like. I'm not using the word gambit as in like the team. I'm using it like the chess term where you're gambiting like full on like let's go for it final round type of situations where this is a complete bonkers strat, but it can catch you off guard, that type of thing. Like they feel like they have everything, and on top of that, I do think that the players are pretty damn good, especially Forsaken. So they have good team structure. But on top of that, they have Forsaken, who is like Padapan. I'd honestly say he's probably at the level of Padapan, if maybe slightly less. I don't know. That's how I feel. Like he can close out games. He could take it over if he wants to. And if Padapan can do it at Iceland, then this guy can probably do it too.
Yeah. His stats are crazy.
And he
Forsaken's stats are absolutely nuts.
Yeah, he did in the upper bracket, which is, if you want to say that that's the game that mattered most. of these SCA games.
Which I was talking to some SEA fans this morning when I was reviewing the final, and they were like, why are you reviewing the final? Only watch the upper bracket game. So I didn't get a chance to watch the upper bracket game, and I came away with a bad impression of both of these teams, but that might have been because it was like the final seeding match thing.
It was in this game, this BO3 that Forsaken was just a demon.
So much fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was fucking crazy.
Which was also,
like,
in the final, I don't know. It was kind
he still popped off in the final. He just didn't have nearly as good of a series.
Sure.
But he definitely had some like crazy moments in the final as well. Like I was really impressed with it. I know he plays a lot more Jett than he does Raze, but I still really liked his Raze.
What I saw from the final as well, when I was watching bits of it, I haven't watched that enough here. I still need to watch that upper bracket final as well, and some of the later maps too, or the final map rather. But the parts that I was watching of Bren against Paper Rex in the finals, there was a lot of goofy stuff happening, similar to the Japanese games where it's like the rounds are just devolving into nonsense. People are like Dispenser, for example, on Killjoy is like running in front of his utility to take duels, and then he dies, and suddenly there's no site available for them to fall back to, that kind of stuff. Was that present in the upper final game, or do you feel like I've got the wrong impression by watching the wrong match?
I think more so from Bren than Paper Rex. But yeah, I mean, not to the level of Japan at all.
Okay.
Like the crazy round type of situation. Usually I use that as a gauge to see how good the region is. If there's happening a lot, then probably the quality is lower.
Yeah.
I don't think it happened nearly as much in this upper bracket final.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't watch that final match, so I can't give you a direct comparison. Didn't watch the finals. That was kind of my worry about why I didn't watch it. I was afraid of
the finals.
Like I just don't know which regions are just kind of just chilling at that point.
Right. It's hard to gauge.
Yeah, but I mean, we could take a look at the groups that both these teams are in as well. I mean, Bren was illustrating there.
Just for a moment before we do that as well, I just want to talk about the star players from both teams too, because if people are looking to hook into some people here in SEA, would you say that the people to focus on are Forsaken for Paper Rex and Dubstep for Bren? Are those the two names that you should be looking at to have huge performances on the team?
Everybody likes
I think Benkai is still actually going to be someone to watch as well for Paper Rex. Like he's like a really, really strong supportive player for them, and also like rifles and can get picks like crazy. Like I think they actually have like a really good 1-2 lineup between the two of them.
I honestly think Mind Freak is the second, not necessarily Benkai either.
Oh, that's fair. That's fair. Mind Freak has a.
I honestly think that 4 of these. Actually, I have something to say about all 5 of these guys in terms of like a real good positive. Like even Shiba, who's playing their Sova and bottom fragging most of these matches, like he had some crazy ass lineups, like crazy. You think about like Crashies and his stats in terms of like assists with shock darts and stuff like that. I feel like I didn't look at the stats, but just by the eye test, Shiba was hitting things like, what was it? There was one. He was boiler on mid on Icebox, like top mid, and they're executing on B, right? So they're crossing a yellow, and he hits them with a double shock on the back of yellow, like while they're stalled trying to get the plant down. And it was fucking insane because I'm like, where did this shock? Just a shock dart killing the feed, and that happened twice. I'm just very impressed with Shiba's. Everybody.
When I was watching the finals, I saw that with the Sova on the other team as well. Actually, on Bren, what's his name? Jesse Vash. Something like that.
Jesse Vash.
He had some incredibly nerdy lineups. I didn't feel like he was a great all-round player or anything, but the actual nerdiness of the lineups, I'd never seen these lineups before. And I wonder whether there's just like a little niche community that's formed maybe for like the SEA Sovas where they trade stuff around. Because he was using the game I was watching, it opens on bind, and he's got this lineup from B that detects people at front site A, so he can throw it to help the rest of his team at front site A. And there's a guy backside who swings on it and gets a kill, and they don't expect it at all because they've just seen this over on B. They don't expect a recon dart to be coming out. Interesting nerdy stuff like that.
Yeah, in terms of Jesse Vash, like I agree with you, and I actually thought he was like a really selfless player, like super selfless. Like, he's diving players because he thinks that his teammate will get the kill for sure if he dives in a specific situation. But other than that, he's not like somebody that I'm watching.
Sure.
Like,
yeah,
he's not a player to watch for me.
These two teams, though, in terms of their groups, they have somewhat manageable opportunities to do a little bit of damage. Now, especially in terms of, I can't even remember which team I was looking at that had the better group of the two. Can we pull it up? Right. Paper X is going to get destroyed. I mean, GG, good luck.
Sadly, they're
unfortunately,
just,
because
they're just
it would almost be better if they were swapped around, I suppose. If you're looking like you have more faith in Paper X to do damage in the tournament, how do they even win a map against that quality of team?
Yeah. Regretting losing that
Rest
final seeding match.
Yeah, I mean, that's
genuinely.
Seeding match actually screwed them there, right?
Yeah. I mean, that is just kind of this, I mean, that is the sad end of their story already. But
any chance for a map? Does anyone see them being able to get a map over any of these teams?
This is one of those scenarios where if they can even keep some of these maps close and look like an impressive, if they can just be a competitor within the group, even if they just go 0-2 and they're out, but they give the teams a struggle, even that is, I think, enough of a showing from them. I mean, look at the goddamn group.
No, the group is crazy. When I watched Vision Strikers play against F4Q, they had a map that they looked super shaky on. I can't remember which one it was. They got, which one was it?
Split.
It was Split, right, yeah.
Which is one of the maps that Bren Esports picks, if I remember correctly. So
I don't know. I was wondering if maybe the map pool matches up in a way where they might have an opportunity to do something. Because Vision Strikers looked pretty lost on that map. Like, you get the map pool is now at 6. Maybe you can get something in your favor if one of the teams has a weaker map pool. But Supermassive Blaze and Ascend are both very deep in terms of their map pools.
The map pool for the other game with Bren Esports and F4Q is actually pretty interesting because they just have the same picks. Like they both pick Ascent, they both pick Split, they both pick Bind, I believe. So they pick all of the same maps when they can. So that could be a pretty interesting game if Bren Esports are, in their comfort zone and are able to, maybe nullify some of the aggression from F4Q is a bit more
Bren also
reckless
does some
than
crazy,
tactical.
ridiculous initiations as well. Like they'll like, especially like on Split, they'll do like, they do it all the time where they would just like slow orb heaven, slow orb B heaven and just like dash it, or not B heaven, A heaven, and just dash in with the dubstep. Just like take the fight in heaven like every time from the choke. Like they did some
I love
crazy
how fearless
shit.
he is, but he feels like the only player on that team that is fearless. And because of that, I think they're gonna get shit on by F4Q. I honestly give more chances to Paper X against Vision Strikers than I do Bren against F4Q.
Really? Okay, why is that?
Because Bren Esports to me is a team that outside of dubstep, everybody else is going to be, if there's some fucking wonky shit going on, they're gonna be out of their comfort zone. And I'm looking at Jesse Vash. I'm looking at who was their Sentinel player, their Killjoy player. That guy looked very shaky.
Oh, Dispenser.
Dispenser.
Yes, Dispenser does look very shaky. Yeah.
And whenever there's something like, whenever there's a Jet player in his face or Bunny satcheling on him, I think that's gonna crush them. And F4Q is a team that's literally not, like, it's in their game plan, it's in their blood to do that sort of stuff. So I think Bren Esports will get boomed. And there's no chance against Sentinel.
Is the hope better for Japan or SEA?
I mean, definitely Japan, I think, right? Surely. I think Zeta Division have to have a better chance of getting out of Group B than either SEA team has at getting out of their groups. Surely, right?
Yeah, I suppose so. I suppose so. Yeah, they do. I suppose they do.
I mean, they just have to, right?
But either way, the really, I think getting out of the group is an unreasonable expectation for both regions, to the point where I'd almost be asking, like, who has more chance of winning a game or winning more maps between the regions, that kind of thing.
The problem is that the SEA, their groups are so much harder than I keep wanting to say Absolute Jupiter.
Crazy Raccoon and Zeta Division. Yeah.
Zeta Division.
Zeta Division.
Group B is the group where there is 100% a minor region team is making it through.
Yes,
so
exactly. That's true.
That is the best chance that you're going to get. I mean, in the other groups, I still think that there's too much. There's still more catching up to be done in the other in the minor regions to catch up to EU and NA, and depending on, I think, how Korea looks, Korea can be added into that as well. Seeing if they can, repeat a top, like a podium finish, like how Newturn did. If they can do it again, then Korea they're right up there too, right? So there's still catching up to do, but I have a lot of hope that it will happen, honestly, for both regions as time goes on. A lot due to just given how popular the game is in those regions. I think it's inevitable that those regions will continue to improve. When the games are popular and a lot of people are playing it, you're going to get more excellent players just by virtue of there being more players. More good players are going to come up.
Yeah.
When there are more fans, there's more economic opportunity for organizations. They're more incentivized to give players better salaries, et cetera, and the wheel spins, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's inevitable, and I'm hoping that as time goes on, it would be sick to have a top, really competitive team from Japan, from SEA. And I think that's honestly realistic, that we'll get to a place where like the best team in Japan can if they're in a group with like the worst EMEA team, that's a close game.
Yeah, might be able to get,
I think that's a reasonable place that we can end up with in the scene.
But we're not there yet.
Yeah, Berlin is just another step on the way to that place, which would be a cool place to be at.
Sure. Let's move on to do some pick'ems. That's what the people are here for, right? The groups have been released. Let's do a group stage pick'em. Let's see if we have any interesting thoughts whatsoever rattling inside our heads. I want to leave Group A until last, though.
Sure.
That's my one thing. So I want to work from Group D upwards, if possible, Kurt. So we'll start talking about Bren Esports and F4Q. I mean, that's the one where Balla thinks that F4Q are going to roll over Bren. I'm inclined to agree as well. I think F4Q actually could pose a little bit of danger even to G2. And I think this group should be pretty easy. Sentinels, F4Q make it through to the winter finals.
Yep. I hard agree. And Sentinels.
No disagreements.
Okay, well, Kurt has decided.
Whoa, Mr. Curtis.
Okay, maybe not maybe not that
Whoa,
one.
Mr. Curtis. Because I think that G2 F4Q game is a banger. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts on how you think thematically it might break down in terms of the team styles, because F4Q are always going to make you play their game. They're always going to do the wild, crazy shit. They're not going to give respect to G2. I'm sure of it.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I guess, well, maybe the first angle to think about with it is, do G2 have the, I don't know, what's the word, like the composure and
on the fly decision making, reactivity,
and the ability to play off of each other in a disciplined manner to actually nullify the F4Q play style, right? Or is it going to end up in a situation where G2 are still a bit disjointed, and all of a sudden these crazy F4Q plays are the end of them? They actually can't deal with it, because F4Q, obviously they do have, they have the aim skill, they have the talent. I think a lot of it is going to come down to G2's structure and how it's looking,
which is why I'm worried. That's why I'm concerned. That's why I think F4Q have a great upset chance here. Is that G2 structure is still, I want to say, in development, but at this point, it hasn't really improved that much since we first saw them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even call this necessarily an upset. I don't think that. I think that on paper, that these teams are relatively even. And then on top of that, the thing I'm concerned about is G2 rides a lot on keloqz, I think specifically in this game. And he is relatively inexperienced in terms of like the field of
for sure
of pro play.
Yeah.
So he is another type of guy who I think could get boomed. So here's what I'll say. I don't think the Sentinels G2 game is as cut and dry as you guys are saying. I think for sure Sentinels is favored, and I would predict them. But if G2 play F4Q in the winners finals, I think G2 will win. I think that's relatively clear, because that means keloqz and everybody, like, they got him rolling. If they're in the lower bracket, I think it's a lot more risky here for G2.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
I completely agree with that, except to the point where I think that G2 could still be playing way better than we've ever seen them and still be in the lower bracket, right? Like, there is a world where this bracket exists, and they were playing lights out, great gaming, best we've ever seen from G2, and they're just getting still like 19-2'd by 10s, you know? Those scenarios can exist with Sentinels when we're talking about them at a LAN event like this. We saw that last time, too.
I can really see this. I could see the Sentinels G2 game playing out in a similar way as to how the first Sentinels match against Fnatic did, where it took them a little bit to get into the swing of the game, and then once they did, their foot was on the gas the whole time, and they just floated through the bracket. I could see that happening against G2 as well, where on the first map, at the beginning, maybe it's close for a little bit, but then shit, even if G2 somehow win the first map, I think Sentinels would wash them on the next two. I really don't see G2 beating Sen.
Okay.
I just can't see it.
The way the map pool might go down could be somewhat interesting as well, though.
Okay.
Because G2...
Sell me on it.
Well, G2 love picking Ascent. It's their number one pick.
Yeah.
Sentinels have looked a little shaky on that, even historically, but... Okay,
they're going to run the KO?
Well, they're not going to run the KO for sure. But those are the kind of... that's the only map where I could see G2 having that upset potential over Sentinels. Because it's the only map where I feel like keloqz feels comfortable. It's the only map where he looks like he has an idea of how he wants to play and the team plays around him. On the other maps, it feels like keloqz is trying to get integrated into a system that he doesn't quite yet understand. So I could see them just trying to ride that momentum if they got it in first, but Sentinels could ban that map and still be fine because their map pool is that deep, or they could, or because they're the higher seed, they probably get first pick as well, don't they? And so they might just get the momentum going on the first map and end up steamrolling over them. I think this is going to be a very hard one for G2 to take. I think it's almost impossible.
Is there another map that's good for G2 that you think there's some realistic upset potential against Sen on the map?
No.
Because I
Bind and Breeze?
I don't think there is on Bind, though.
But I don't think Bind and Breeze looks so good for Sentinels. And G2, their Bind has looked... even though they've got good results on it, their Bind has looked disjointed, too. Like, it's
been random, yeah? You know, like when they played against Fnatic way back in the qualifiers, it was like, God, like, it's so good. You're like, holy shit.
And
but then when they play against
just,
Giants... Exactly. That's the type of thing, like...
and when they played against SMB as well, and they just got crushed.
It was Haven and Bind. And when they played in the playoffs, they played against Giants too, and their Bind was ass.
Yeah,
they kept going B, like they just kept fucking running, and that is questionable right off the surface. But also, you question Koldamenta and his experience as well.
Sure. And there's no way that Sentinels allows them to get Bind and Ascent in a map pool.
Even if they
but
did,
Sentinels normally ban one of the two.
I don't even think it matters.
I think Ascent is not. Yeah, I agree with Wyatt. I don't think if they get Ascent in, I still think Sentinels beats them. That's what I'm saying in the last episode. Is that shit is readable. Like that the stuff that keloqz does is very, very readable, and Sentinels is like the perfect team to go against something like that.
I just don't see G2. I don't know. You need a map that you're just gonna I don't know. To upset a team like Sen, you need a. It's like you almost need a pocket pick in a map, and I just don't think they have one that works.
This was a tangent
Sen.
that came off from the idea of what G2 are we going to see. Yeah. But what we were originally discussing was G2 F4Q here.
One more point on the tangent, because I think that the really cool part about this match is the beef is already fucking out of this world, like crazy. Like the Carlos shit, the Central COs getting involved, and that sort of like environmental stuff could bring keloqz, could bring Mixwell to that level. You know what I'm saying? Okay. That's why I'm not necessarily, because we've seen such a range from them, right? So you don't necessarily know.
Yeah.
I mean,
but that's the type of I don't know. It should be fun and also could activate the players that I'm concerned about.
Okay, all right.
Yeah,
I think in all likelihood, though,
maybe
we are set up for G2 F4Q,
but he'll just be yelling from the sidelines and tweeting. So I don't know.
I'd love to see Carlos in the
Meanwhile, Dapper is living it. So I don't know.
The other thing, esports home field advantage. G2's in Berlin, like that's their headquarters.
Yeah. Yes, all the German players on G2 will feel right at home. They'll be eating all their local cuisine and going out to the local drinking halls.
Yep. All right, but let's get to the.
We gotta answer this question. We gotta answer this fucking question about F4Q G2.
F4Q and G2,
bro. Just put them through.
I'm putting G2 through. Even in a scenario, right, where G2 are playing their worst, I still have faith in Nuki and Avova to be good enough and have enough structure, just even between the fucking two of them, to be able to get them through a game against F4Q. I think.
God, you pulled the Nuki and Avova trap card, bro. That's the one thing that'll get me specifically to just be like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go.
I rate those players really heavily. I think they're very good, and they are not just good, they are disciplined in terms of how they play off each other. Nuki never used to be that disciplined, but he is now. And if he needs to take the game into his own hands, he will. I don't think 5K is going to be able to do it over on F4Q. He's a fucking non-factor. So if this comes down to them needing somebody to brute force it, I see G2 being able to do it. I'm not ruling out the upset. I understand this is a very close game, but I'm going to give it to G2 like 60-40, something like that.
God, there's some juicy upset potential here, though.
There really is. There really is.
Juicing.
Have I sold you, Balla?
I think so.
Okay, all right.
The other thing I'm thinking of too is like F4Q is very divey and pretty straightforward. Like, sure, their executes are insane, but that's what G2 just faced against with Giants, who was not as structured with their executes, so that might be a difference. But literally, they were very Giants was just fucking like, let's send it let's send it over and over and over. And I think that's what this game might devolve into. And if that's the case,
should be a fun one. But I think it's going to be a really fun one.
I think I'll give it to G2, but it's got to be like a 2-1.
Okay.
Or something like that.
Yeah, I could lean with that 2-1 for G2.
If G2
I still believe in G2.
Kurt is bored, guys. Let's move on.
Yeah, let's go to Group C. Okay, let's go Group C. I feel like this is very cut and dry. Gambit, 100 Thieves.
Yep.
They're making it through here.
Yes.
That's what Curtis filled out is the on-paper way this bracket should go. And I'm over-doubting 100 Thieves right now.
I think you are.
I know that it's the cool thing to do, and I know that I used to do it a lot, but I've seen enough recently from 100 Thieves to feel confident about them heading into Berlin.
I feel confident about 100 Thieves winning this in the upper bracket, actually. I think that they're going to win the upper bracket.
Really?
I do.
Gambit.
I do. I think that the Gambit win. What did you say, Balla?
I think they're going to choke this group.
Who?
You think they're going to choke the whole group?
100 Thieves?
Gambit will choke.
Wait. Yes, I don't know what I have this. I love Gambit. I want them to. I honestly, if there's a team right here that I'm rooting for, it's Gambit the most. I just have this fucking deep pit. That's just the same shit that happened for them at EMEA, where there's so much hype around them. Or EMEA Stage 2, right? There's so much hype around them. They look so good in the opening match, and then they just choke.
I mean, I think they're going to win. They're going to be Crazy Raccoon.
Yes.
I mean, they could. Yeah, they're going to be Crazy Raccoon, but I think they're going to lose to 100 Thieves. I think they're going to get experience diffed in this. I think that Gambit.
You're buying into the 100 Thieves land stonks.
Yes.
Well, yes. Here's the thing. I think they're relevant against a team like Gambit, though, because I think the Gambit has shown that they're even kind of green when it comes to the big events online already. And then you saw once they barely qualified against Liquid, once they barely got over that obstacle and qualified, then it was like, oh, okay. And then they won from there in the seeding games. And I don't put that much stock into them winning the whole tournament overall with the seeding games afterwards, because I feel like that was such a different team than we saw on the way there. They are a very good team, but 100 Thieves are in the best form they've been in since First Strike. I like all the changes that they have been making. Austin and Ethan are a crazy duo. I think that they're in a good spot here to beat a team like Gambit, who might be a little, I think it's very realistic that they're going to be a little bit green. They're going to be kind of nervous, and 100 Thieves are not going to be. They're mega experienced, except for Asuna. All of the players have played 101 big LAN events. I think
100 Thieves attack rounds are going to get crushed by Gambit. Crushed. I think Gambit's defense is going to eat them up, but then Gambit could absolutely throw their own attack halves as well. I could see that happening too. But I don't really see even the improved version of 100 Thieves.
Let me ask you a question. What's Nats going to do when he gets suppressed by Steel? What happens then?
I mean, he's just going to, he'll just fucking shoot him.
What happens then?
You're so right, actually. I mean,
what happens then?
You know,
Nats has the setup in hookah.
You're saying that as a joke, but that's genuinely.
I'm not joking. I'm genuinely not joking. I mean, I'm saying it in a comedic way, but I'm kind of being serious. Like,
he does like to bunker down in positions.
Against the teams that bunker down and are kind of ratty on defense, like Xset, that didn't really adapt to it, they got washed on those when they were on defense. I had
not considered that at all, actually, but that KO would be super good against Gambit.
The KO might boom him.
The KO actually might boom Gambit.
Nats plays in, like, very advanced positions too, because he wants to play off his cages.
Yes.
And that is a recipe for disaster against the KO.
I can see it now.
You've sold me, actually.
Knife is in. Hold on. The knife comes in, and then here comes the bird. It's flying in, pops. Nats is blinded. Austin dashes in, gets the kill. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I do.
I'm telling you, and even that aside, even if they don't play KO, I'm still predicting them to win. I think that they're going to win this match either way. I still think Gambit should be able to make it through in the lower bracket, but Ball, are you trying to sell me that Havon Liberty are going to beat Gambit? Because I'm ready to believe.
You would be the guy to sell me on that. I'm not necessarily, because I do think that Gambit, like, legit could just fucking choke. That's the feeling, but there's no actual, like, gameplay, because I can't compare Haven. The guy, I haven't watched enough of them, so you'd be the guy to sell me on that.
I mean, I keep bringing this point up, and I don't want to. I'm not trying to make it seem like Havon Liberty don't have any skilled players at all, and they don't have firepower. It's just in relation to Vivokeyed, and when you're like thinking about how they play, and with Heat on that team, it's a lot different from Havon Liberty, who are very reliant on. They are really well drilled,
right?
And I don't know if that's.
This is
look at them go.
Being well drilled, right?
Yep, and it's the thing is Will that be enough, though, to crack? Is the Gambit defense sturdy against a heavy execute, perfect util, Vision Strikers-esque team? You know, will Gambit's defense hold up against that at a big event? I think that's kind of the ultimate question with that matchup. I think a lot depends on that.
Also, I think, now that I think about this more, too, like, how Redguard plays in particular, where I feel like Redguard gets like a lot of really great lurks. Steel is so mindful of the lurks too, and like stops all the value from Redguard a lot potentially in this match. Like, I feel like so many fights for Gambit are opened up from Redguard just getting like a great flank, or like just like pushing an area of map that's been like somewhere's repushing, and so he just repushes that particular area, whether it be down mid or something. And Steel is always like one of the most mindful players when it comes to like he's a lot like Finesse, I feel, in terms of how mindful he is of like lurks, and that could actually really hurt them too, on top of like catching Nats out with those suppresses.
Yeah, I can buy the 100 Thieves win over Gambit when you put it like that. I can't buy
because of Fantasyland. That's why, because we fucking Fantasyland with the KO bullshit.
I mean, it's not that fantasy though, is it?
It isn't that fantasy.
Steel could play.
It's that fantasy. I think it could work.
Steel could play Cypher, and they're still going to win.
Key, but like,
I don't agree with that though.
Yeah,
I don't agree.
I think so. I think Steel could play Yoru, and they're still going. No, maybe not that. But
Steel could play Jett.
I think, on Bind, he could play Jett.
Off.
No, I think that I really
beat them on Bind. Their Bind is elite tier.
Yeah, until they come to land and what do we do? That's
the thing is though, the Gambit choking thing, I think is overplayed at this point too. In stage 2, they lose to Fnatic, who end up being the second best team in the world.
It's been a slow process of them getting over the next little roadblock every time. And they have yet to play at a LAN.
But the roadblocks have been the difference between being a great team and being the best in the world team. The roadblock is not between being all right and being great. It's between great and no one can beat us. That's the current roadblock. And I think even if they're just performing at their qualification point, that is still an extraordinarily good team. And you look at what they've been able to accomplish. they have battered down obstacles whenever they've been faced with them. Like they win in CIS. They've won every single event in CIS. They finished top 4 in EMEA the last time and only lost to Fnatic. They've won this time around. Like I see what you mean in terms of like when you watch their games, they do feel uncomfortable, awkward, choking at times. But when it comes down to actual results, they've never bombed out of a tournament like this. They haven't. They have never bombed out to like we lost to 100 Thieves and then spilt our spaghetti to Haven Liberty.
I don't think they're going to lose to Havon Liberty.
But I don't what I'm saying is this wouldn't even be characteristic. This would be uncharacteristically extra choking. The normal level of choke would be, fuck, we lost to 100 Thieves.
Their run was they were on the edge the whole time. They were teetering on the edge their entire run. Almost lost to Liquid. Like they had the
loss to Liquid was on the edge.
Guild.
Yes,
I mean they
lost to Ascend.
They lost to Ascend in the upper bracket. They barely beat G2 in a BO3, even after beating.
But do you put those quality of teams at the same, like at Havon Liberty level though? I wouldn't.
I'm not selling anyone on Havon Liberty. I'm not trying to say that they're beating Havon Liberty. I'm just saying that I think 100 Thieves, I'm very confident in 100 Thieves beating them in the upper bracket. I think they're still going to beat Havon Liberty. Could Havon maybe take a map? Could they keep some of the maps close? Yes.
Oh, I could definitely see them keeping the maps 100%. Close. Absolutely.
But I think it's going to go in this order. I think 100 Thieves are winning in the upper bracket, and I think Gambit are coming through in the lower.
No, I can be sold on that. I'm with you there. Yeah, I'll go along with this bracket. Does anyone want to? Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Sure.
Let's.
I'll go along with it. Sure.
I'm kind of reconsidering my because again Gambit fanboy, but so I'm
gonna
kind of
say
reconsidering.
fuck
But like let's go with it because I actually think that there's probably more chance of 100 Thieves getting their experience, like that land buff and whatever that everybody says they're going to get, is more likely to happen in playoffs than to happen in group stage.
Okay. All right, well, let's take a look at Group B anyway. Group B is the most interesting one because, as Wyatt keeps saying, one minor region must get out of groups here. I'm going to vote for Envy whenever they play against anyone in this group. Because don't even try and sell me on Heat beating them. Don't even try and sell me on the Heat stonks beating them early on. Let's have a small discussion about it.
Is good.
I'm surprised you didn't put Heat versus Ye in the game show. What the heck?
Yeah, you don't think... I mean, if
Heat versus Ye...
You can't use that one for next time, by the way.
No, listen, I looked at Heat Ye. I looked at Heat Ye. It's not... I mean, you wouldn't be able to tell who Heat is. If I put Ye up and then I put Heat on the other side, you wouldn't even be able to tell. Because it's just... worse, but there's no stylistic reason that you would be indicating that it's Heat. I seriously don't think so. Ye is, when you look at stats only, right? Ye is a statistical anomaly. He's a freak. He's at the top of everything. Literally, I think there's like one stat he's not. But apart from that, it's literally everything. He's at the top in stage 3. I'm not saying he's the best player, but if you only look at stats, you would absolutely think so.
Yeah, no, I mean, Envy are winning that game. But
what is the win condition that he pops off? Is that
for Vivo
it?
Keyed?
Yeah.
I mean, I think he. Yeah. First of all, he duelist diffs Envy,
right?
And then also Vivo Keyed are playing with the maximum confidence that you saw them play with towards the end of the stage 3 qualifier, where they were just all swinging for each other, super aggro. But great teamwork.
They have to boom them with a skill diff to even get this train going, right? Like they have to be able to swing and hit their shots.
They're going to diff them, and it would have to be on. It would have to be on the right maps. I mean,
sure, but
there's going to be some map overlap, unfortunately, as well. I think like Haven is probably going to be in that BO3, which even though Heat has dropped like fucking 40 in regular time on that map, I don't think. Envy are so good on Haven. Like that's a loss. Even if Heat's in God mode, it's probably a close loss. I don't see a world where Vivo Key win. They would have to be in rare form, and Envy would have to just be, I don't know.
All right.
Just getting boomed by unbelievable skill mixed with perfect fundamentals in regards to the Vivo Key players playing off each other. It's just so unlikely.
Crew and ZETA Division. That's a game. And we discussed it when we were talking about ZETA as well. I would still predict Crew in this match, I think, judging by what I've seen. But I could absolutely see upset potential here. Where is everyone else leaning? If you had to put a pred this early on.
ZETA. I'm leaning just
Crew
slightly
feels more
ZETA.
structured. when I watch them. They feel a lot more structured than ZETA. Honestly, when I watch them play and their executes and like how they actually hit a site, but ZETA they got some fragging on there. I'm kind of torn. I'm a little torn, honestly. I feel like.
Are you torn like coin flip, or you're torn like there's some serious upset potential, but you'd still put your money on Crew if it was just flat odds?
I'm probably still going on Crew because also I feel like I also feel like their previous experience and everything, and like they just seem like a far more structured team in the way they approach the game than ZETA currently does.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, they are definitely like aiming to have that structure with the kind of compositions that they play. Wyatt, what are you
I'm going with
the
ZETA Division.
Oh, okay.
This feels like a 50-50 for me, and kind of along what Avast said. I think a very general way to kind of look at it is I think Crew, bit more structure. ZETA Division, I think right now looks like the Japanese firepower is strong on their team. I'm gonna edge it to ZETA Division. I think this is like a damn close somewhere, honestly, around like 50-50, 55-45, 60-40, something in that area.
Okay. Right,
super close. Gonna give it to ZETA Division on a tight win.
All right, let's go with ZETA then.
I think Crew. I think they need to change how they play in order for them to match up well against ZETA, and I don't think they're going to do that. So okay. I give it to ZETA too.
So that would set us up for a lower bracket game, which is a rivalry between the #1 team in Brazil and the #1 team in LATAM. And I know that the Crew was getting a lot of hype from the Vikings players when we had them on pre-Reykjavik. And they ended up, they said that
they would be second, second best at the time, which I guess they were because they did beat Sharks.
Yeah, they beat Sharks. Yeah.
Is Crew going to send home the Brazilian team again? Because they did that shit. Oh,
not this time.
Cool.
I think this is down to whether Vivo Keyed are on a heater. I think it's very hard to tell when a team is figured something out fundamentally or whether they're just, banging people out. And if they've cooled off and if they've returned back to...
Really?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, what an awful pun. On a hot streak. I don't know. Whatever you say there runs into it. Whatever you say runs into the same pun. I would pred Vivo Keyed on paper, but I think Crew have a great shot of being able to win that game.
I feel like for Vivo Keyed to lose, we would have to see the same thing that happened in Iceland to here in regards to just somehow the confidence is just gone like that.
And Heat doesn't look like he's even himself. And he's just,
but Heat seems just like a way cockier, big ego player than the guys on the other teams that we saw in Iceland. And I think he does not seem like the kind of guy who is going to show up and play with low confidence at all. So
Crew also has Kesnit, who loves taking duels as well, but doesn't really play Jett, as far as I'm aware. That's Nag's role, right? Yeah. So Kesnit, I think, is primarily the Raze player, I guess, for the team, the secondary guy, but he loves taking duels as much as possible, which is a bit of it's a matchup diff that favors the Jett, I think. That favors Heat to try and take those duels and then still have an escape mechanic, whereas Kesnit doesn't a lot of the time if he's looking to try and shut down the player on the other side.
Is like a decent Jett opper, right? And
yeah, but I don't think Nags has the. To me, when I watch, Nags doesn't have the how some duelists will seek out the duels and seek out the other star player and try and shut them down. That to me feels much more Kesnit than it does Nags, which I think
and that is exactly how it is when Kesnit plays Jett. I think he plays it on Haven. I want to say I don't know. There's a map where Kes does play Jett, and it's exactly like that.
Right. So, okay, this would set us up for a Vivo Keyed against ZETA Division. Is anyone going for the ZETA Division upset, make it out of groups?
Absolutely not.
If they beat Crew, can they do it? No?
I don't think so.
Okay, Envy and Vivo Keyed. Let's, all right. Yeah, make sure you click the green things. I don't know what that does.
All right, here we
go. Let's move on to the group of death then.
The juicer.
The juicer, the absolute juice box. Starting with Vision Strikers Paper X, you just got to go with Vision Strikers.
They should poo poo on Paper X.
Yeah, that's a Vision. Yeah, I mean it's.
Yeah. Okay, and then
Unless
SMB
Balla
against
wants
Ascent.
to sell us on the dream.
The dream.
No, I do think that it's a higher chance than F4Q versus Bren or whatever for the SEA team, but not.
Okay.
Like higher chance means like 10-20% higher, and it's still not even close.
Yeah.
I think Supermassive plays are more likely to underperform than the other EU teams or EMEA teams, I should say, at Berlin. Because the way in which they play is extraordinarily heavily around taking aim duels on all of their squad. They love to hold angles where they're taking a duel as somebody enters a site. They don't play off their utility as much. They're heavily relying on taking duels when other teams wouldn't expect them to take it. So, like, you know, when you've thrown a piece of utility, you expect that area to be free, and suddenly, you know, Turco or whatever pops his head around the corner, bap, and then he's back around. If you don't have confidence because you don't have experience, or you are scrimming and it ruins your confidence because you're playing against an Envy and Yay booms you, or Dapper booms you, or whatever else, you know? If you're doing that kind of stuff and then you come into the game and you don't feel as good having that play style, and also the reads that they make in the middle of the games where they like to stack, they like to like make heavy, hard reads on their opponents and gamble stack much more than other teams. I think that's the kind of stuff that screams to me online is going to be better than their LAN performance. Where
even though they have 5 ping,
even though they have 5 ping, and in theory they should be able to bot people, their style is so confidence based and so much about fragging that if there's even a small drop in consistency, it's going to lead to a large drop in terms of rounds and like map results. So
the problem though is that matches up well against Ascend. And they in order to get out this group, they have to beat Ascend.
Why do you think that matches up well against Ascend though?
Because we watched it.
Yeah, but I feel like if they don't perform, I'm very confident that Ascend are going to play the same as they do.
You're not worried about
anywhere.
CNET on his first LAN?
I'm not either. Yeah, no.
I'm not particularly. I mean, the thing is, all of these could go the opposite way. When people talk about, oh, this team could flop at LAN, yeah, well, they could also be like TENS and just dominate at LAN. There's two sides of the coin for people where you have no data to work with.
Yeah, of course.
So you could see CNED flop, or you could see CNED become even better than he was online. Same for all of the SMB players, by the way. But with how new Izzy is as a player and the style that they play, personally, I have less faith in them to replicate their performance at EMEA. But like I said, it could be proven completely wrong. What are you guys thinking about in this match?
This is the toughest match to call in the entirety of the bracket. I've been looking at this group stage for a week. I still don't. I just have no confident leaning toward either team. I don't know where to go with this one. Actually, in fact, the only thing that I feel confident about in this bracket is that I think Vision Strikers are going to make it through. I mean, I think that...
Do you think they can win against either Ascend or SMB if they're in that scenario?
Yeah, and I think here's the thing, I think even if they lose to one of the teams in the upper bracket, I think they'll probably beat the other in the lower. I really think Vision Strikers are going to make it through. I really do. I think that they are primed for a real run in this tournament. I think they were in excellent form. I feel like they have so many positive things going for them, not the least of which being they've played 1,000,001 LAN games, if you do want to talk about that. I really do have a lot of confidence in Vision Strikers this tournament. I really do. I just can't call this goddamn SMB Ascend game. This is such a
weird like triangle in my mind. Like I think SMB matches up well against Ascend based off of the game that we watched.
Right.
But then I think Ascend is better than Vision Strikers. I think Ascend is just a better team overall in general, and I think that they have chances to win the tournament. But then I think Vision Strikers beats SMB, so it's like so it really depends on this first match. And I don't know which way to go with it.
Am I out of pocket here for saying that if you want to look at all the teams, like if you were to make a pie chart of all the teams in Berlin and put a percentage as to each team's chances of winning,
right?
These three in Group A would all be some of the highest percentages outside of Sentinels.
I mean, Sentinels easily has the highest portion of the pie chart, right?
Yeah.
I think
the contenders are Sentinels, Ascend, Gambit. Those are the top 3, I'd say.
I think Envy are the only team that I want to throw in there. If they have improved and integrated Ye a lot more than they had done for the NA finals. But that's the prerequisite there is that they have to have improved in order to be in that position. But yeah, I would say so. But I don't think Vision Strikers are a well-rounded enough team at the moment from what they've showcased to be able to have a significant portion of that pie. I think that at the moment, in all of the games that I've seen of Vision Strikers, when they've played against good opposition, they've never had to go to a plan B that looked good. They've either gone to a plan B that failed or their plan A has worked. And they only go to plan B a very rare amount of the time in Korea. But the few times you do see them shift off of it, it's like they don't have the greatest backup plans. Everything just has to be called really quickly. Everything is fast. I think a team like Ascend makes decisions quickly enough that they're going to be able to read that and counter that. SMB, though, I don't have the same level of confidence. I think they might get overwhelmed.
And I feel like there's just a world where SMB just show up to the event and they just don't miss.
Yeah, that could. Yeah, Turco just
that is
hits
the real
the
problem
aimbot
with this. Yeah, you can see a world where they just don't miss and they make it through, and
they just beat everyone
in another world, in another offshoot universe. Ascend are the ones who made it through, and they're actually like a top 4 team easily, but they just get boomed by SMB on the day.
Which is why I'm saying that SMB to me comes down to form. It's not to do with their actual play. Their play is reasonably good. Like, their strategy is reasonably good. But what really pushes them into excellent territory is form. And form is temporary. So I don't have confidence in them making it through the bracket. My bracket would look like Ascend, win, and go through the upper, and then Vision Strikers beat them in the lower. That's how I would do this.
I think Ascend go through uppers, personally.
Yes.
I believe Ascend go through uppers. I don't see Vision Strikers being Ascend. And then I'll honestly give a coin flip for who wins between Vision Strikers and Supermassive Blades. I'd honestly take a coin flip. It's tough for me to really directly call it, but because SMB just show up and they could just pound them into the dirt. They could just do some. They could sage wall out of hookah and just kill them all in sand and bind and do some weird shit like
this.
They're just crazy things.
This bracket is just this group is fucking insane.
It is.
It's not even just that you got stacked teams and it's in a bracket. It's like they've somehow put these teams together that I just don't know what to pick for any of them.
Here's what I'm also thinking about with Vision Strikers. They rely a lot on Buzz. They set up Buzz. He's their entry fragger. He tries to go in all the time. He gets punished quite a bit, even in Korea. He actually ends up dying and getting caught out.
I think Buzz is one of the... Sorry, go on. I'm not going to cut you off. Go on.
No, just in terms of when you look at star entry fragger people being able to get first bloods, he has a shit ton of them. But he also has quite a number of first deaths because he is always the tip of the spear for the team. And I feel like that's something that teams at this event are going to try and catch Buzz out much more than any team in Korea has been able to do. And that I think is going to be...
I absolutely agree with that.
I think that's going to be a big hurdle for Vision Strikers to overcome is, can Buzz adapt how he plays? And if Buzz can't, what do? Sub RB in on Jett and put Lakia on Sova? Is that really a backup plan for them? Or do they have adjustments that they can make there? We don't know. We haven't seen, no team has ever pushed Vision Strikers, this iteration of them, to their plan B. What do you think? If you were making your own bracket, give me it. I've got to push
Vision Strikers be paper Rex. I'm fine with how this is, actually.
Okay.
I think this might be how I do it.
Oh, all right.
I'd live with this.
I'm okay with it.
I literally only have one strong belief in this group, and it's Ascend make it out of winners. They get out of top.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there it is. That's the pick'em for the group stages. We'll do the pick'ems for the other stuff at a different time. All right. Well, it did fucked it up, but whatever. We'll fix it in post.
5 points. My pick'em points.
We'll fix it in post. But those are the group stage pick'ems. Let's move on to an important... I think the rest of the Berlin talk we can do later on as we get closer to the event, especially because we're co-streaming it as well. Yeah. So I'd like here to move on to the most important segment of the week, every week.
Okay.
It's Wyatt's Weekly Award.
That's Wyatt's weekly award.
Bren just giggling in the kitchen.
This ball is crushed.
Just giggling in the kitchen of that baseball audio.
This ball is crushed.
This week, the weekly award.
Yep.
You're never going to guess who it's going to. I guarantee it.
You guarantee that I can't guess who it's going to?
Yup.
Your golden chalice?
Nope. This week, the weekly award is going to Boaster. Why, you ask?
Gosh.
Why Boaster?
Yeah, why Boaster?
Because I think Boaster has done a lovely job this week of inspiring gamers to, get more fit. Gamers, spend a lot of time, you sit at home at your desk, you know what I mean? A lot of people, they play all day. You got to, I got to grind, I got to play all day.
Yeah, 10 hours minimum.
Yeah, it's outrageous, right? But you need to have time to get physical. And that's a part of, I think, keeping your mind right and body right for gaming as well.
Yeah.
Kurt,
I'm cultivating a little farm of deep vein thromboses in my calves at the moment, like a little ant farm.
So here's Boaster at the gym. I mean, and I think this is really inspirational.
What is he doing?
We need to see more gamers really get out of their comfort zone.
Yeah.
And take care of their physical bodies, It's more than just what you do with the mouse.
What am I gonna do if I run into Boaster at the gym at the hotel in Berlin? Like I don't know. Outfit out the room. Like,
the thing is, Boaster's looking kind of clean in the first one, and then you see the second one.
I mean, and look at
what is this? He fell asleep doing yoga.
So I felt that Boaster really deserved an award for leading gamers down the right path, being an inspiration.
That's inspired me. I'm going to buy a yoga ball and just bounce on it. Just learn
I think
to
every gamer needs to know how to make their ass clap like Boaster. I think they all need to know how to do it.
Oh, God.
Wonderful. All right. It is going to be a loss not having him at Berlin, honestly. It really is. I mean, maybe he's going to be like a talent guest or something on the desk.
He'll have a halftime show.
Yeah, they might
get out there and start shaking ass. That's what he's practicing for.
Jesus Christ. All right, well, all that remains for us to do is welcome some people to member as we always do at the end of these videos as we look towards the Berlin co-stream. Have we got any new members, Mr. Kurt?
Let's see here. We got 3 new members.
What?
Ooh. We got Reddy65.
Welcome to member.
We got Arten Patel.
Welcome to member.
And we got a large Giga member. Tier 3 in Oscar Green.
Ooh, Giga member. Welcome to member. Now, if you were a member this week, you got to ask questions and a Q&A session that is going to be posted later on this week as well. Q&A, hot takes, that kind of stuff. That is one of our perks of becoming a member and supporting the Plat VALORANT channel. And on top of that, too, coming up later this week, we should have...
we probably can't mention yet.
Some cool content.
No, we can't.
No.
We've got some cool content coming up.
Because we are going to release this video after the thing.
The thing.
We just talked about it in Discord. Yeah.
Oh, really?
I thought that started on Thursday.
Well, we're allowed to publicly announce that we are doing it after 8 a.m. PT.
Oh, are we?
So if we're going to release this video at noon, so we can announce that we are going to do...
There you go. We're going to be doing some Fracture content for the new map.
Nice.
We have no idea.
We were about to just breach 5 NDAs. That would have been an issue.
Right now, we have not played it. We don't know what the hell it is. We have no idea. We can't tell you anything about it. But what we can say is we will be able to tell you about it in the upcoming days after this episode is airing. We're going to be producing some other content, probably some pugs with us and some live runarounds on the map, and we'll show you what's up. We don't know at the moment, but we played Guess the Gimmick earlier on, and we'll see whether we're right, I guess.
We'll see if Bren was right about the Gulag.
Yeah, maybe the Gulag does exist, and that was the real NDA break all along. But we'll see you for that cool content that we've got lined up later on this week. And for the regular episode as well, next Wednesday. Bye.